Hello everyone, this is Dan Hollings, and tonight or today, depending on when you're joining us, we are going to spend some time learning new strategies, totally breakthrough things that have to do with you increasing your success with Amazon physical product sales. Everything that we're going to talk about tonight is new. This is all insider secrets. This is stuff that I'm doing. I'm also being joined with an insider from Amazon, Danny Hausman. We'll be going into some of the details about our background and things as we go forward. But I'm going to kind of just go through a couple of housekeeping things initially and make sure everything is working really well. First of all, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So if you want to type into the chat box area and just say yes or hello, Dan, you're going to find out that there are two Dans on the call tonight. There's me, I go by Dan, and then Danny Hausman is on with us, and he goes by Danny. So good. I see a lot of people are here from all around. That's great. Very good. And just to do a little test, Danny, are you there? You want to just say hello and let me make sure people can hear you. If you can hear Danny, let us know. Are you there?
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing?
Okay.
I hope, yeah, you guys, I assume everyone can hear me?
Great, okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll give a few minutes. People are piling on. It's just rolling like a odometer here. A couple of things that will help. We have our webinar schedule. You might want to go ahead and mark your calendars. Because of the holidays coming up, we're going to take a break. We're going to do 2 training sessions. Obviously, we have one right now. This will last about 2 hours. You'll be sitting on the edge of your seat the entire time. Then we're going to have our next session a week from tonight, same time, same channel. That would be December the 9th. 4 p.m. Pacific. That would be training number 2. Then we're going to have a great holiday. You guys are going to continue to make money. You're going to be implementing some of the things that we've talked about. We'll join back together January the 6th for session 3. It'll be the same time again, 4 p.m. And then January the 13th, we'll wrap things up with a Q&A. You should plan on 90 minutes to 2 hours for each session. If they run longer, I'm here, I'm yours. We're going to learn this stuff. All of the sessions will be recorded and will be made available to you in your member area. Now, everyone that's on the call now, you guys are super, super lucky. You're the first to hear this information, okay? And it will later be opened up to other people. So what we would like to ask, and I'm going to remind you of this throughout the presentation, is let other people know what you think of what we're teaching. Okay? You can do this in your Facebook group, your ASM Facebook group, where I know you guys chat and talk about things all the time. If you're new, it's really most everybody on the call is a part of the new Amazing Selling Machine course and just recently signed up. And if you haven't been over to your Facebook group, make sure you find out where that's at and get engaged and involved. But if you know where it's at, it's really critically important that you share your feedback, your kudos, your comments, questions, all of that kind of stuff with the Facebook group, because people who joined ASM before last year and the previous year, they are not on this call tonight. And they'll have the opportunity to go through the program later, but we're trying to decide whether to release it full depending on if you guys think this is good stuff or not. So your feedback's critical. Please, please, please do that. So I want to welcome everyone to what is called the Amazon loophole. What do you see here? This is an iceberg, and I know you've heard the expression or know the fact. The truth is that only a small amount of an iceberg appears above the water. And that's really what Amazon.com is when you're looking at it through the blinders that you have on right now, knowing just the ASM material that you've learned thus far. Basically, here you are, and you're selling products, or you're just starting and you're sourcing your product, or maybe you're still going through the course. And you see all kinds of opportunity, and you've seen other people who are selling $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $300,000 a month in product, retail through Amazon. And to you, it looks like the grandest opportunity that you've probably ever been involved with in your internet marketing or online career. But in reality, you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. And as you get into doing this, you're going to find that there are restrictions that prevent you from growing and tapping into this at the scale that I'm sure you're interested in. I mean, we're all doing this in order to make money. That's really why we're doing this. And it's a great business for that. But there are problems. One of the problems is the fact that we only have so much time. If we had more time, we'd be able to do more things, and we could kind of benefit from that part of the iceberg that's under the water. Also, we've spent money in order to learn how to do this. We have spent money, or we're about to spend money, on inventory. And there's only so much of it that you have. So it's a challenge. Also, there are limited product opportunities, at least from the perspective that you're looking at it now. You may have already noticed that some of the types of products that you would like to pursue, lo and behold, you get excited about it, but you find out there's already been 50 other people who've gone through the program that are already sourcing and selling that product. And you're thinking, oh, well, geez, I don't want to compete against all the other people that know all the same strategies and tricks of the trade. I need something new and different. Another challenge is knowledge. It's a lot to learn just the core part of this business. I mean, anybody can do it. It's not that hard, but still you have to learn some things, and for some people, it kind of pushes you a little bit. And then it's quite a different business than any other online business, and it requires sometimes extra knowledge that you just don't have. I can't tell you how many people pick a product, put it up on Amazon, only to find out that, hey, they like the product, but they weren't an expert in the niche that they're in, so therefore they really made a bad choice. Maybe they got a great product and they didn't name it right because it didn't really appeal to the audience, or maybe the color on the labels just really didn't match. You know, just little things that you wouldn't know if you weren't in that niche all day, every day. Boy, I can't tell you how many people go into like beauty and weight loss and all that kind of stuff. Great, because it's an incredible opportunity, but there are people out there who have been doing beauty and or weight loss for years and years and years, and they just know the marketplace. And so for them to know how to go and find the perfect product, label it and brand it and price it, and to do some things to push it up into Amazon, it's easier for them. They're swimming in waters that they know really well. To just go out and source some makeup or go out and source some pill someplace that's supposed to help you lose weight, you can make mistakes. So sometimes it's niche knowledge that's missing. Sometimes it's tech knowledge. Maybe logging in and getting your page all set up is a little challenging. Maybe you have to know a little code here and there. There's all types of tech knowledge. Accounting knowledge. This sounds crazy, but this isn't a business where if you're really good at spreadsheets and accounting and doing all that stuff, I personally hate it, but you can make a lot more money because it gets complicated as you begin to add products, because you're discounting products to earn rank, you're getting paid by Amazon, and boy, have you seen the calculations they do in order to figure out how much you get paid. I mean, all of that stuff is really crazy, and then you're shipping in inventory, and it just gets confusing. And as you add more and more products to what you're doing, it can be overwhelming. If you are a master at tracking all this stuff, good at accounting and bookkeeping, you can make a lot more money. But hey, what if you don't know that stuff, like me? What if you just hate it, like me? And then what about marketing knowledge? Some of you had marketing knowledge as you came into this, such as myself. And I can apply the marketing knowledge and make Amazon all that much better, but some of you don't have that. There's a lot of stuff out there in the waters that prevents you from tapping into the full iceberg of Amazon. Connections is another one. Do you have the connections to do various things? Connections to find the best sources. Connections to help promote your product and get it started and up the ranks. And what about celebrity? You know how sometimes somebody well-known who's already got all the connections can just jump into something and just make it happen just because they're well-known, they're a celebrity. All of this stuff can be solved by using the Amazon loophole. Now, what I want you to know is that this is not theory. This is the only way that I do Amazon personally. And as I paint the story here, and we're going to get into the how-to, but I first have to knock your socks off on how incredibly powerful this is. As I paint this story, it's going to change your world when it comes to Amazon. What is the loophole? It's going to seem so simple in the beginning, but it's going to get powerful as we go forward. Here it is. It's by becoming an Amazon consultant, or what I call an amazing consultant. It's by doing some amazing partnering to fill in the gaps where you lack. All of those things that were floating in the water from the earlier slides, time, money, knowledge, connections, celebrity, all of that is at your fingertips, and you can have access to that by consulting and by partnering, and that's what we're going to show you how to do in the Amazon Loophole program. So yes, this is the amazing loophole. It's one hell of a ride, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to make profit. And here's the best part. We're going to do it with absolutely zero risk. Now, some of you know me, but I want to share a little bit about my background, because you've probably heard some of the things I've done, but you didn't realize how deep and long of a history I've had with Amazon. But let's start back at the beginning, just to introduce myself, and later I'll introduce Danny, so that you get a feel for the experience and wealth of knowledge that we're bringing and sharing with you tonight. First of all, many years ago, I was the guy that did the marketing for it was a phenomena, The Secret movie, and later they came out with a book. Newsweek said it was a stroke of marketing genius, and by the time Oprah ran her first segment, The Secret was already a huge success. A lot of people don't realize that by the time Oprah put The Secret on air, we had already done 40 million in sales. That's why we got on Oprah. She couldn't ignore it. Later, we went on and did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions. I'll show you some of that in just a second. But also, I've done consulting for other people, such as J. Conrad Levinson. Recently died. He was the father of guerrilla marketing. In his last book, it's not even yet published, but I was a consultant on that project, actually wrote the chapter on mobile marketing strategies. There's another book that's out called The Top 25 Leading Experts in the World, and still don't know how I got in that book, but I was featured as one of the top 25 marketers in that book. It's available at Amazon.com, of course. And some of you have been through my Udemy course. I'm one of the top 10 instructors in marketing over there. My class has got about 250 five-star reviews, and there have been over 30,000 students who've gone through my zero-cost marketing training program there. It's zero cost. It's totally free, so if you have not gone through it, certainly go to udemy.com and check it out. It's free, and I think you'll enjoy it. But those are some of the things that I've done, all kind of leading up to where 90% of my focus is today, which is on Amazon.com. But let's go back in time a little bit. I want to share with you how I was first introduced to Amazon. It wasn't through a course. It was through actually taking a product to the top. And when I say the top, I'm talking about the very top of Amazon. And it was the secret DVD or movie. And here you can see the secret landing page and the secret content site as it was ranked by Alexa. Alexa is a company that's owned by Amazon, and they track the reach and traffic for various sites. This was a #1 mover and shaker when it was launched. We launched the landing page first, and then a few months later we launched the full site and started selling the product. There was nothing online bigger than this at the point in time that it was released. That's what Alexa tells us. In fact, ABC News actually said that the marketing campaign behind The Secret is going to go down in history as the greatest case study of viral marketing ever done anywhere. But guess what? They didn't know it, but it was actually one of the greatest case studies of Amazon marketing ever done anywhere. I've never really talked about this that much. It's been my own little secret. But guess what? Do you remember when Steve Jobs held up the first iPhone? I can remember it so clear. And he said, hey, why don't we take the iPhone and let's go to Amazon and buy something? Yeah. I mean, it seems so every day now. We buy things on our smartphones all the time at Amazon. And many of your customers do and will as well. But back then, this was just absolutely revolutionary. But here's what's interesting. When Steve Jobs went to buy something, on the screen, he pulled up the top sellers in DVDs, and it happened that An Inconvenient Truth was #1 at the time, but guess what was #3? Yes, little old me selling the secret DVD. Now here's a little backstory on this. The Secret was a client of mine. They hired me to help them in the promotion of that movie. They did not want it to be sold on Amazon. So working with a friend of mine, a client of mine in essence, we put the Secret movie up on Amazon through Seller Central. Yeah, just like what you guys are doing right now. And I basically took that product to the #1 spot. It was #3 right now as we looked at it as Steve Jobs was doing the demo, but it later went on to be #1 in that category and later of all Amazon. Yeah. When I say that we sold hundreds of millions of these movies, it was so unbelievably significant that it would just rattle your bones. That was my introduction to selling things on Amazon. In fact, here's the listing. I kind of had to dig around on my hard drive, and I didn't take as many screenshots back then as I wish I had, but this was the listing. Amazon looks a little different today than it did back then. And there's a curious little item. You know that area where they say you know, buy this with the other thing? It says buy together. The product that you could buy with the secret DVD happened to be another DVD, which was music by me. Yeah, I mean, my background, I have a degree in music, and I also do virtual music, and I had actually done, just as a hobby, a tribute to the movie, and it ended up getting combined with the movie, and I wish I could find it, but my product, just music, ended up ranking. It was up there with Madonna and gosh, I can't remember the songs that were out there, but it was ranked on the very first page. So I had this immersion experience with Amazon early on, and I learned all kind of strategies back then. So that's a little bit about me. I'm not going to talk any more about me as we go forward, except to share with you some details about how I am now using this loophole through consulting and partnership in a way that will blow your mind. But in addition to that, I wanted to be able to share with you guys some insider information. And I had the good fortune a few months ago to meet a gentleman that used to be at Amazon.com. In fact, Danny Holzman, he actually was in charge of training and teaching people just like you at Seller Central for Amazon.com. He's not any longer with them. He's now working with me. We've put together this training program, so you're going to be able to have questions answered that, you know, maybe you would not normally have access to. Dan knows, or Danny knows, all types of stuff, having worked there. And prior to that, he worked with Google AdWords. He's done online marketing. I think he was with Google for 6 years or 7 years or something like that. But to have a guy that really helped to build the Amazon Seller Central help platform is a big, big asset. So my experience of doing this stuff and my experience of having some products be overall bestsellers at Amazon and Daniel's will help. Now, here's the hard part. Unfortunately, both of our names are Dan or Danny or Daniel. So we've decided that I'll go by Dan and you'll go by Danny. So later when we open it up for questions and things, you can ask either Dan or Danny. And as we change back and forth in the presentation here, you'll be able to tell a little bit by the sound of our voices. So anyway, I'm going to hand it over to Dan, but before I do that, let me just cover a few of the things that we're going to learn. Now this is where it gets amazing. That's why we call it the amazing loophole. Here's what you're going to learn. Why this approach allows you to grow and profit faster on Amazon. Why this approach has almost zero risk. You're not going to lose money and you're not going to lose inventory. Why this approach can make you more money. We're going to cover all of this. Some of it tonight, some of it in our latter sessions. Why it's smart not to put all of your eggs in one basket. Where to find partners and consulting opportunities with hot products ready to sell. How to convince others to pay you the big bucks while they accept all of the risk and invest all of the capital. How to leverage brand, capital, customer lists, inventory, and connections. How to weed out the losers, there's plenty of those out there. Steer clear of the troublemakers. And also, not have to deal with the idiots. You're going to bump into a few when you do this, but we're going to teach you how to weed them out. How to close the deals, how to structure the agreements, and how to divvy up the work. The good part is you're only going to have to do part of the work now. And you get to do the fun part. And you get to get paid for it. It's really interesting. And also how to manage the client and or partnership relationship as you go forward. That's what we're going to learn. Now, here are the benefits of the loophole. The first one is you can do the amazing loophole, the Amazon loophole, with no money required for inventory. Zero. You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. I'm making a lot of money. Some of you on this call, I know you haven't been doing this very long, but you're probably already thinking, wow, you know, I sure hope this works. I got a lot of money in it. I've been doing it now for a good while. I have yet to invest a single penny. Ever. Think about it. No money required for advertisement. No risk of your capital or of your product flopping. No giving away product that you've got money invested in. You know how in order to get things going, sometimes you have to give away some of your product using Amazon promo codes at a discount so that you get some sales moving and rank going? You won't have to do that. How to tap into existing fans, existing traffic, and existing customers that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. How to tap into the expertise of the product manufacturer or a niche expert. How to do more products faster. I know they caution you not to take on too many products, and that's a good advice. But by doing this, it's a loophole. You're able to do more products without it consuming your time and your money, the two biggest things that doing this program takes. How to tap into potential celebrity connections. How to redirect sales that are occurring on products out there and redirect those into Amazon where you're getting a percentage of it. How to enter categories where there is absolutely no other path of entry. In other words, what I'm saying is there's some products that you could never sell on Amazon. Not because Amazon prevents you, but because, you know, maybe it's a product that a manufacturer makes and they're like the exclusive maker of it, or it's in certain spaces where they don't have these products out there that you can white label. You just can't get to a white label version of it, so therefore you can't go into these categories. The loophole allows you to do that. So you could sell products that no other person that goes through ASM could ever compete against you because they wouldn't have access to it, or even anything similar to it that they could white label. How to focus on marketing and strategy and let someone else deal with the inventory issues. I got to say, of all of the reasons that I like the loophole, it's this one. You know, I'm a marketer. I do marketing and strategy, and I live and breathe it. I love it. And you know what I hate? Spreadsheets and inventory and dealing with people in China and, you know, sourcing. I mean, to me, I don't like that part of the business. There are other people, and some maybe on the call, that love that part of the business, and you hate marketing. You see, different people have different interests and focuses. But if you like to do the marketing and strategy part, the loophole allows you to let someone else deal with the inventory, let someone else deal with all of that. And this is a big one. How to secure your future by not having all your eggs in one basket. We're going to talk about this more later, so I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but that's a big one. And then how to get referrals to other partners and other clients. There will be people literally begging you to do this. Now let me give you a case study. This is a real case study. In fact, you actually saw this chart when it was presented before you signed up. This program, this training that you're going through was a bonus. And you received it, and you probably saw this chart. And I know there was so much stuff you were looking at, you might not remember it, but this was the chart that was shown. Let me go through it. It's a real example. All right? And this is an example of a corporate client that I'm now currently working with. When I found this client, I didn't know these people. It's totally cold. But this corporate client, they were selling about 40 units of their product on Amazon. It just wasn't really working for them very well, 40 units a month. I partnered with them in July. So July, August, September, October, November. You know, we're just coming into the 6th month right now. 6th month. I invested absolutely no money, and I will never have to invest any money in this particular deal. But within 3 months, they started selling 480 units a month. In other words, they were doing 40 a month. They met me. Now they're doing 480. Took 3 months. So do the math. $54 is what their product retails for. They're selling 480 every month. That means they're bringing in $25,920 a month. This isn't rocket science. And a good percentage of the profits like this could be going into your pocket. Let's look at the actual numbers. $25,920 is what this company brings in every month, or at least that's what they were bringing in as of month 3. All right? Their profit is about 50%. That means that their profit is $12,460. Guess what? They pay me 25% of what they get from Amazon, in other words, their profit, all right? That means that I make $3,115 a month. I invested no money. It took me 3 months to do this. I didn't know this client from Adam. I had no connection or insight. You know, sometimes people say, oh, Dan, you know, you've got all these connections, you know people. No, not on this. This was as cold as it could get. I saw a product, I found a product, I talked to them cold, I emailed them first, talked to them cold, got them on the phone, and within a week, it was a done deal and we went to work. 3 months later, $3,115. But guess what? This is what you were shown at the time you joined ASM. It's different today. I mean, you know, a whole month has passed. We are now selling 600 units per month. Now, I got them to lower the price a little bit. It's kind of a goal I always wanted to do. They really didn't want to do it until their sales were higher, but you know, things were working. So they went from $54 per case to $48. So the retail went down. That's one of the reasons the unit sales went up. But let's look at how the numbers work now. Now they're bringing in $28,800 in retail sales at Amazon. 50% is their profit. That means $14,400 is what they have each month. They pay me 25%. I'm now making $3,600 a month. That is a loophole, double happy face. You know, I'll do this all day, all night. And if light bulbs aren't already going off in your head after seeing this and listening to the things that I've already covered, I don't know what could possibly get anybody more excited. Except if I were to tell you a dozen more stories and expand what you think I'm going to talk about way beyond what you even think is possible. I'm going to show you real-life examples. None of this is theory. Of things that have occurred within the last 12 months Now, the one I just showed you, that's just, a few months into that deal. But let me show you some others. Now, some of my clients, I can tell you who they are and some of the details. Some of them would prefer I not tell you, so I'm not withholding information for any reason other than client privacy. All right? And some of them don't mind if I talk about their specific products, and others would prefer I just not mention it. So I'm trying to tell you everything I can, so don't think I'm holding anything back. I've got agreements and deals and things going on. I just want you to be aware of that. But as I go through these real examples, it will begin to make you think about the types of consulting and the types of partnerships that you can do to tap into all of the things that are down there where that big part of the Amazon iceberg is floating. All that stuff we talked about earlier. Let's look at the first partner deal and talk about how that would work. If you're going to go into a particular area, if you don't know that area, then I would suggest that you not go into it because you'll probably stump your toe, or else you'll be up against competitors who know that niche better than you, and they'll clean your clock. It'll be very difficult. And you certainly don't want to invest thousands and thousands of dollars in inventory only to stump your toe and find out that, gosh, I'm trying to sell in the wrong category. What am I doing here? Instead, go and find a niche expert in an area that you would like to go into, do a partnership with them, and let them bring to the table their expertise. Sometimes they'll bring their capital. Sometimes they'll bring their connections. Sometimes they'll bring their sources. They've been in the niche for years. Those are the kinds of people you're looking for. They've been doing it for, they just don't know how to do it on Amazon. They may have tried a little bit on Amazon, but most of them have failed. You're coming in and saying, hey, let's partner. I'll do the Amazon stuff and we'll just knock it out of the park. You just bring to the table X or Y or Z. Now, depending on the expert, they may have different things to bring to the table. And when you first approach anyone, it's always, well, look, let's just try one single product. I know that you've got 14 different products that you're selling on your website, or talking about on your blog, or maybe it's in a store someplace, but I don't want to do the whole line. Let's just take one product and do it. One of the biggest money makers I have is a niche expert. I can't tell you the niche, but I brought on board a niche expert that knows this area of the market inside and out. They've been doing it for 20 years. They know all the sources. This particular partner also had capital. It was just unbelievable. But guess what they didn't know a thing about? Amazon. So what do? I say, hey, let's just take one of your products and just give me free reign. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, and if you'll do all of these things, I'll put it up on Amazon and I'll show you how to make it a bestseller, and we'll just sell gobs of this stuff. They're kind of scratching their head and they're thinking, well, I don't know, but you know what? You can find someone to take you up on that. And it just so happens, of all the types of partnerships that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, right now, the niche expert is the one that's bringing in the most money for me right now. That will change as we go forward because I've just recently landed some pretty significant deals. But I want you to start thinking about getting to more products and capital and expertise by finding a niche expert and partnering. All right? That will basically, you won't need any capital. You won't need to deal with the inventory. Find a niche expert that's been dealing with inventory for a long time anyway. Okay, let's talk about another type. I partnered with a marketing expert. Now, you're probably thinking, well, geez, Dan, you're a marketing expert, and that's true. But guess what? I don't know everything. And sometimes you get two people together that are both good at a particular area, and the brainstorming can just be incredible. But I happened to team up with a marketing expert that was really big into testing. I'm not a big tester. I just use my gut. But on Amazon, sometimes you have to test things. And in order to test things, sometimes you also need capital. And in this case, the marketing expert brought both. Good testing skills and capital. And we've been able to test all kinds of ideas to see what works and what doesn't work. So you can find, if you're not good at marketing, you can find a marketing expert who has not yet discovered selling on Amazon and team up with them, and then you'll be better. Find someone who's good at marketing and social media and team up with them. Find somebody who's good in marketing on a particular, Facebook or Pinterest, or find somebody that's good at Google pay-per-click ads. These are external types of marketing that if you do them, they can help your Amazon business, but you may not be an expert in those. So rather than you sitting there and trying to figure out how to do a Google pay-per-click campaign, and just losing money and not having success, go find somebody that knows Google AdWords up, down, left, and right, and just partner with them. That's the smart way to do it. Celebrity. This is kind of a funny story because this is the very first person I partnered with. I'm not counting The Secret when I did the DVD and all of that. That was a little while back. But when I finally decided that I was going to devote 90% of my time to doing Amazon physical product sales, it was Dean Tornabene that I teamed up with for my very first product. And I went to Dean. Dean, by the way, is a former Mr. America. He looks nothing like me. I'm like the before picture, and he's the after picture. But he also happens to have 2 doctorates in nutrition. And he makes all kinds of products. So I initially went to Dean and I said, hey, Dean, you got any products that are like sitting around on the shelf? By the way, I had somebody introduce me. I didn't know him beforehand, but I was talking to somebody. They said they knew him. I said, hey, would you introduce me? So I met him, we talked a little bit, and I knew he did products and sales, and he does infomercials and commercials and all that kind of stuff. I said, you have a product that you created maybe a year or 2 ago, and it's sitting around on the shelf, and it was a great product, but you just kind of lost interest in it? And he said, yeah. He says, I got this stuff. I must have like 3,000, packages of it back there, and yeah, it's just sitting there. It was a great product. I'm just on. How he's always creating products, and he gets excited about it and moves forward. So I said, well, why don't you let me put that on Amazon, and let's just see what we can do. And that product is now, it's not a bestseller. This is one that it's just a consistent seller. It sells maybe 5 or 10 units every single day without stop. Sometimes it'll peak, sometimes a little lower, but I can always count on 5 to 10 every single day. And we've got it overpriced. It's overpriced. It's selling for $20 more a package than he ever sold it back when he was selling it on infomercials and commercials and stuff. But that's a celebrity. Now, I'm going to talk more about celebrities later because you can partner with celebrities because guess what? Celebrities have certain things. Generally marketing, and they generally don't know anything at all about Amazon, but they're definitely interested in money, and many of them are trying to figure out how to monetize their celebrity. So for them to team up with somebody that has a real way to make money, boy, they're interested. Real talk, boy, I'm going to give you a more detailed example later, but Dean was a good one. You ever heard of Build-A-Bear? Yeah, you've been to the mall, you go in there and they've got all the stuffed animals, and you build them right there in the store, and you put their the stuffing inside and their little heart, and you get a birth certificate and the whole bit. I mean, Build-A-Bear is a billion-dollar enterprise. Well, it just so happens that the supplier for Build-A-Bear This guy is massively wealthy. I was introduced to him, and he warehouses all of this inventory right here in the United States. And he supplies them, but he also supplies a lot of their competitors and a lot of other places where you find these types of stuffed animals. But they are not on Amazon. When I first met him, that was after I found out what he did, I said, holy cow, what a business. I said, do you guys sell this stuff on Amazon? And he said, oh, no, because, you know, Build-A-Bear it's like a franchise. And they don't want all of the individual franchisees selling Build-A-Bear on Amazon because they'd just all be competing against each other. They have to focus on what they're doing in their stores, okay? So I was able to strike a partnership. And this is a newer product. We just put it up. It's already selling really great. These aren't even ranked well yet, which is what's funny. But we put up our initial inventory about 3 weeks ago. We were already selling about 10 a day. We're not on the first page of any of them. And, you know, it's been a magical product. By the way, this particular one, if you want to go, it's Christmas, I figured, what the heck. If you want to go and get one of these things, they're 16 inches tall. They are so soft, they melt in your arms. If you've got to get a Christmas present for anybody, adult or child, they're like handmade quality. They come as a little kit, and you stuff the stuffing inside, and they have a little pocket where you stick in the star for a heart, and they have a birth certificate. Just really, really nice. And they sell for $25 each. And if you'd like to get one at half price, I've got the URL there, ez.ht/any-furry. We call them Build a Furry Friend. And just use the promo code ANYFURRY, and you'll be able to get them at half price. And we may be out of some of them. I think we ran out of the little teddy bear today. But there's a whole bunch of inventory in reserve about to go live. And so if they're not there today or tonight, just try back a couple days. We've got just literally hundreds of them coming in. But see, here's the good part. Think about this. We put these up, I'll just round off the numbers, but we put in like about maybe 50 of each. 50 of the little huskies, and 50 of the teddy bears, 50 of the heart-nosed dog, and 50 of the pandas, and 50 of the little tiger. All right? Now, if you wanted to do a product like this, when you've got 5 different varieties, that means you have to spend 5 times the money in order to have appropriate inventory. So, like, if you think about, you know, a lot of people start with a single product. And maybe you put in $3,000 for that single product. Well, when your product has 5 varieties, such as this, then immediately you're looking at multiplying your investment times 5. And then guess what? Within about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, we're almost out of inventory, and immediately we have to fill more inventory. But guess what? I don't have to reach into my pocket or my profits in order to do that. It's really just pick up the phone and say, hey, you know, all of those that we put up, they're gone, they're sold. We need more. This time we need like 200 each. I was on the phone today with them, and that's exactly what they were doing, sending in 200 each of these. Is there anybody on this call that could fund 200 each of these? It's hard if you're using your own money. That's the power of this loophole. Now, just for clarity, this is not Build-A-Bear. This is the supplier who supplies Build-A-Bear and many others, and now including a partnership with me to put them on Amazon, and it's called Build a Furry Friend. Go get one. You'll love it. Whoever you give it to will just think you're the greatest. My wife collects these things, so she's got them in her closet. ez.ht/AnyFurry, and you'll use the promo code AnyFurry to get 50% off. Okay, here's one. Local businesses. Do you know right in the town where you're at, there are companies and businesses that make things? And I will almost guarantee you that none of them are selling the things they make or sell on Amazon. It would not even dawn on them to do that. So that means forget the internet. Just within your community, if you just think about it, I bet you could think of merchants and vendors and stores out there, entrepreneurs that are in your local area that are doing something there. You could walk in and say, hey, I love your product. I buy it, you know. Sometimes I go into, you know how Whole Foods also sells local stuff. They kind of specialize in that. I'll go into Whole Foods sometimes and I'm looking around and they always have the local. This is local, this is local, this is local. Those are all potential partners or clients, because they're trying to sell their products, and a lot of them just get their product in the local Whole Food. They're not in the Whole Food chain all across the United States. They're just trying to make it, and it's in that local. That's it. So you could just go to Whole Foods. I mean, I go up there all the time looking for leads, and I do my shopping at the same time. It's crazy. But here's one right here. It's called Masala Pop. This is a local business. This particular business makes popcorn, but it's Indian flavored. Now this is a bit of a interesting one because it has not been a success. Not everything you do is going to work out, and this one has not worked out that well. The reason, it's kind of layered, but I just thought the popcorn was great. And I couldn't stop eating it. I love Indian food and spicy things, and boy, I just thought it was good because it's not something you can get anyplace else. And I thought, well, heck, popcorn, what the heck? We can sell that on Amazon. But it presents certain challenges. First of all, popcorn's very, very light, and so therefore it's prone to be tagged as an add-on product at Amazon, where people can't buy it unless they've already got $25 in the shopping cart, and there are workarounds to solve that problem, but that was one problem. The other is nobody's going to order a case of this stuff, which is really the way you need to sell it, you know, where you pay $25, $30, $40 for a case of it, if they can't first taste it. Nobody's going to buy 12 bags of Indian popcorn until they taste it, then they might. So trying to get out a sample through Amazon presents additional challenges as well. I've learned a lot in working with this client. So it's lightweight, it's inexpensive. There's not a ton of markup by the time Amazon takes, you know, their 21% and the cost of everything else. There's challenges here. But they sell about 1 case a day. It's not that profitable. Even though I did a partnership and I am supposed to get 25%, in this case, I learned so much just by doing it. I told this particular merchant, look, we're not doing enough yet for me to earn my keep. I don't even have them pay me the 25%. So I make 0 on this one. But I have learned so much from it. But here's the point I'm trying to make. There are people in your community who are making things that you can sell on Amazon. And all you got to do is walk in and introduce yourself, because nobody else is going to ever suggest to them that they sell it on Amazon. It just isn't going to happen. You're going to be the only person. So you go in there and they'll think, well, what the heck? And you say, look, all I want is an exclusive for Amazon. You can still sell it in your store. You can sell it on eBay. You can sell it any place else in the world you want. You just give me an exclusive for Amazon, and here's how it works. Tell them what they have to provide you, the inventory requirements, and this, that, and everything else. Explain how the program works. And they'll get as excited about it as you got excited about it, because you spent thousands of dollars just to learn this. So if you go into somebody that actually has a product and say, hey, look, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to learn all this. You just need to keep doing what you're doing, and I'll do it all. It's an incredible opportunity. Glitter Magazine. This is a magazine that is in all of the Walgreens and grocery stores all across the United States. It's a magazine that is targeted for teens and tweens. And this particular one happened to be a lady that had consulted with me many years ago. And I called her up because she had a challenge back then, and I assumed she probably still had it, and lo and behold, she did. And here was the challenge. Trying to get advertisers to buy ad space in her magazine is a never-ending uphill battle. And the lady that runs this magazine, her expertise is not only in publishing, but she used to have a job in New York where she sold advertising space. That's her expertise. So she's a publisher, and her expertise is selling ads. And yet she can hardly keep enough ads in this magazine to fund all the production that's required in order to do it. So I called her up and I said, hey, I got an idea. Why don't you become your own advertiser? In other words, instead of trying to convince Revlon, and I mean, I don't know all of the places or makeups and things that teens and tweens like, but instead of trying to convince them to run ads, why don't you just create your own product line? I'll put it up on Amazon. You can promote it in your magazine as though it were an ad. Nobody has to even know one way or the other. And when people see it, it'll be something that your audience is definitely interested in because it's going to be a product that you and I collaborate on to come up with. And people will see the ad, they will buy it from Amazon, and you'll make your, quote, advertisement revenue from selling your own products on Amazon. And then here's the kicker. You've got literally hundreds of thousands of people that are reading your magazine, teens and tweens. When they go and buy the products that are in your magazine, they're going to drive it up the ranks in Amazon. And guess what that's going to do? It's going to expose these particular products to Amazon buyers. Because even though this magazine has a pretty substantial reach, it might be 100,000 or so, it's not near what Amazon has in their database, where they literally have millions and millions and millions of people with credit cards in hand ready to buy whatever is ranked on the first page. Did any light bulbs go off? My word, folks. These opportunities are out there everywhere. Let's look at another one. Oh, I just love this one. I'm going to spend just a tad of time on this one. Kenny Arnoff. I had this incredible video that I was going to show you guys tonight, and unfortunately I found out at the very last moment that GoToWebinar will not allow a video and audio to be transferred through their system, without me doing a big workaround. I'll try to see if I can get it done for a later session. So I could show it to you, but you can't hear it. So I decided just to remove it altogether. So you didn't get to see that. I was going to show it at the very beginning. But basically, it was Kenny Arnoff at the Kennedy Center. The president was there, and all types of celebrities were there. And guess who they were honoring? They were honoring Led Zeppelin. They were honoring Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin was there. They're a lot older than they used to be, but they were there accepting these awards at the Kennedy Center. And they brought in various top-notch artists in order to play some of the music of Led Zeppelin. So it wasn't Led Zeppelin playing, it was some top artists. Well, oh my God, Kenny Arnoff was the drummer that they brought in to play with the groups, and it just was mind-blowing good. Well, anyway, Kenny's about 60 years old. You see his picture there. He doesn't look 60, and the guy can play drums. He is one of the top drummers in the world. Not only is he classical trained, but he's also considered one of the top in rock, and he's played with everyone. Okay? In fact, to give you a feel for the reach and influence this guy had, he started back with John Mellencamp, and he was with him for about 6 years, but then he became a session drummer, and he's everywhere. Like, just last week he wrote me, he says, hey, I'm playing with Sting right now. He was up with John Fogerty in Canada the week before that. He's played with Joe Cocker and Paul McCartney. He's played with David Crosby and Willie Nelson and Rod Stewart. He's played with, who else? Dylan. He's played with Johnny Cash. He's played with, who else? Hey, I got this list here. Jewel. It goes on and on who he's played with. literally hundreds of people. He is the #1 session drummer, and he has owned something like 20 different records that have won. What do they give records? Not Oscars, Emmys, or something like that. He's owned 20 different ones. And in fact, here he is on Amazon. Now you can't hear this. I can hear it. But this is him playing drums on Amazon. He actually sells drum heads there. But Kenny came to me, and Kenny wanted to basically wrap products around his name, okay? Because here he is kind of at the peak of his career. He's 60 years old now, and he knows everyone. He has a fan base, and he's begun doing speaking engagement, and he's still gigging. He's on the road all the time, and he does a lot of studio session drumming. But he wants to wrap products around his name. So guess who is partnering with him in order to do that? You see, this is absolutely unbelievable what you can do. Now, I want to show you how simple this is. Yes, I was able to connect to Kenny. It was through a friend of a friend, but he didn't know me. We got on the phone, we jived. I happened to have a music background that did help. But at the end of the day, it really had more with the fact that I could bring to the table the part that Kenny was missing. Kenny has celebrity. He has connections. He has a fan base. He has influence. And he has certain types of lifestyle. He's really into fitness and stuff because he has to do all of the drumming and sessions and stuff. And he wanted to come out with a line of products that he could get behind. And by teaming up with someone who knows Amazon, it is a match made in heaven. He would have partnered with you as quickly as with me because he doesn't know anything about Amazon and marketing stuff. He just needs somebody to say, hey, okay, we want to do these products, and collectively together we go and source the kind of products. Now, he pays for it. Remember now, I don't ever pay a penny. People ask me to pay a penny, I say, no, I'll find somebody else. All right, I just want to make money. I don't want to spend it. Some of you guys know I did zero-cost marketing secrets. I didn't spend money back then either. I'm crazy that way. Well, Kenny comes, so we work together, find products, we source them together, and then he puts up the money, buys it, and we put them up. We're just starting to do that with Kenny. Okay, here's another one in front of you, a charter school. I bet you never would have thought of that. Some schools have private funds and can actually take that money and buy inventory with it. This is a school that was trying to raise money. They wanted to do a fundraiser. I said, well, why do a fundraiser? Isn't that something where you just one time go down and like buy some donuts and stand on the corner of the street and, you know, hot donuts all afternoon, and then, you know, the people that made the donuts get some of the money and then you get some and the fundraiser's over? Or like Girl Scout cookies or something? Why do that? It's a one-time event. Why not just do a permanent fundraiser by doing it as an Amazon physical product merchant? So I set the school up as a merchant. I manage their entire account. I help them source products that the parents and the teachers and the kids would like and buy. In some ways, this is a lot like the magazine. You know, they basically have a captive audience, students, teachers, parents, grandparents, and the community that would like to support the school. This particular school had borrowed money through a state bond, and they wanted to do fundraisers so that they could pay the bond off sooner than it was due. And so that's what they're doing. So they're going to be able to go out to the parents and the teachers and to the grandparents and the community and tell them, hey, go to Amazon and buy this product. It helps the school. Guys, gals, this is big. Let me go to the next one. Owner of a large niche blog or forum. This guy is probably one of the top carpet cleaners in the world. Okay? I'm talking about a guy that literally is in the business of cleaning carpets all the time. I have a good friend, Joe Polish, and I know some of you know him. He's a good friend of mine, but he teaches carpet cleaners how to make money. This isn't Joe Polish. This is another guy that runs a large, in fact, it's the largest forum for carpet cleaners online, and it just so happens that his parents run a manufacturing company that makes the chemicals for cleaning the carpet. And they sell all of their carpet cleaning supplies to carpet cleaners until they met me. I said, well, heck, if you guys are manufacturing the stuff for cleaning carpets and you're selling it, you know, in industrial-sized containers out to professional carpet cleaners, why can't you just take the same stuff and put it in smaller bottles and sell it to the public? Well, how would we do that, Dan? Well, why not Amazon? Oh, we don't know a thing about that. Well, let me show you. You manufacture the product, you put it in smaller bottles and put some labels on it, we'll call it this, and boom, I'll put it up on Amazon, and you pay me 25%, and you keep the rest. They think, well, what the heck? Why not? They're making the stuff anyway. They're not selling it on Amazon anyway. Why not? Do you see how logical this is? It's mind-blowing. Plus, not only are they the source of the product, they also run this huge forum where they're going to be able to push this out to their audience. So they also have traffic. This is one that will not go live until after Christmas and the new year, but this is a breakthrough technology. It's a Kickstarter type startup that sells it's called SmartStones technology. And basically what it is, you remember those commercials, I forget what they were called, Life Alert I think it is, where an older person would fall down and then they have to communicate. It kind of falls into that line, but much more. What it really is a communication device that operates through touch. It would almost be like having an iPhone that did not have a screen. And everything you did just had to do with touch. And to tell you the truth, there's a lot of stuff we do on an iPhone that's just touch. If you ever hand an iPhone to a blind person, they will outperform you on the iPhone, even though you can see what's going on and they can't. Oh, it's just amazing. Well, basically, this technology taps into that fact. It's touch. It's all about touch. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, but this is a Kickstarter type product that will launch in a big way. It's a technology product, and it literally is an iPhone without a screen, and it will sell on Amazon as a wearable technology, and I will be a partner with them because they don't know anything about Amazon. They just want to sell a lot of product. So you can go to Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and Danny will be talking about a little bit more of that later, and really find some incredible things that you could sell on Amazon. And then finally, I'm sorry to spend so much time on this, but my gosh, you can see I've been a busy guy. I also have partners that I just call bird dog partners. These are people that know what I do, and they don't really do it, but they just kind of sniff around and find companies and partners and entrepreneurs and other people that they think could use my help. They'll arrange the phone call, I'll get on the call, and most of them don't work out. I'm very selective, but some do. And if the bird dog finds a partnership for me, then there is financial compensation for them having done that. That way, I'm not out there having to look for deals all the time. I'm having people bring deals to me. But I got to tell you, the other thing is that at this point, just what I've been doing with people on Amazon, they are starting to be, in other words, all of my clients and partners are bird dogs too. Dean Tornabene, remember the guy, the very first one, Mr. America? He's referred people to me numerous times. And so it goes. It gets easier and easier. And again, folks, I've got more products on Amazon than you do, and I'm probably making more money than you are. I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to say that you could be doing what I'm doing. I want to show you how. Okay, we're not done though. Let's take a look at consultant deals. Everything I've talked about thus far would fall into the area of partnership deals. But on a consultant deal, it has more to do with you helping a company. See, if you go to a big corporation, often they don't want to do a partnership. They're accustomed to having sales reps. They're accustomed to hiring consultants. So it's really a similar type deal, but it's not a true form partnership. Also in the partnership, sometimes the partner might not bring product. The partner might bring money. The partner might bring celebrity. The partner might bring, connections, okay, or skill or knowledge. But on a consultant deal, they're almost always bringing product or inventory. It's a corporation that's what they have. And they would like to have a consultant help them sell their product on Amazon. Actually, they don't even know it exists. You can find these quite easily, and you introduce yourself, and they go, "Holy cow, where have you been? Because we're not doing anything on Amazon, and everything we've tried to do is just sucks. Can you help us?" So here, let me give you a couple examples. Inu. Now, Inu is a product that is very similar to like Ensure. The stuff that you take if you want to put on weight. It's used by elderly who have a hard time maintaining a good nutritional balance, sometimes used by bodybuilders, things like that. It's used by people that have just come out of the hospital, cancer patients and whatever. It's like Ensure, but it's natural. In other words, it's not full of the sugar and all the bad stuff that they put in Ensure. But this is a big market, and this is a market where there's not a simple pathway to entry. Remember I talked about that earlier? It would be very difficult for you to find a white label that you could just change the label and sell this type of a product. All right? So this is an example of being able to get into a space that normally you couldn't get into. Now this one happens to be the one that you already know about, because this was the example that I talked about earlier and that you heard about before you joined. So you already know the backstory. Now you just know that the company is Inu and the product is their protein meal replacement shake. Okay, and I've been working with them for what, 4 or 5 months now. They provide all the product, all the inventory, everything. The next one is Age Reversal Inc. I don't have a picture for them. This one did not work. It didn't work for numerous reasons. It reminds me a little bit of the masala popcorn, but in a different way. In this case, they had a patented product. It was a corporation that helped to relieve joint pain and things of that nature. Unfortunately, even though I explained to them what we were going to do together, they just got cold feet about 2 months into it and really couldn't afford to do the promotions and inventory levels that were required in the extremely competitive niche that they were in. They know everything about the product and their expertise. They know nothing at all about marketing, nothing at all about Amazon, and we were able to get it up onto the first page for some of the keyword searches, and they did start getting some sales. Amazon came along and pulled the product off. I don't know if any of you guys have had this problem, but trust me, it can happen any day. They pulled the product off, and we later found out, they didn't even send us a notice, we later found out that somebody had reported the product as being I forget exactly what they called it, but they were saying that this company didn't have the rights to sell it. Well, come to find out, just some Joe Blow had sent an email to Amazon, and they took it for real and pulled the product off. Instead of writing the corporation and saying, hey, somebody's saying this, is it real? This company owned the patent on the product. You guys probably don't have the patents on the products that you're selling on Amazon. You just are getting a product someplace, putting a white label on it, and selling it. If Amazon was to suddenly pull your product off, you might have trouble getting it back up. You know, now don't freak out. Amazon does not do this every day, but they do it. Amazon does some crazy stuff. I've been trying to figure out some of that crazy stuff with my good friend Danny because he's an insider. And earlier today he was telling me, he says, man, Danny says, that department, he wasn't in that department, but that department is just mean-spirited. Crazy things going on over there. Well, anyway, they pulled this product. It took about a week before they put it back up because they had to send in the patents and all this kind of stuff to prove that they had ownership. And then, boom, it's back up. But guess what? No longer on first page anymore. It's back down at the bottom. And the company was going to have to promo out a whole bunch more product to get us back where we were before, and they didn't want to do it. The product is still up on Amazon. It's buried. They hardly sell any, and, you know, we still, our agreement's still in effect. We're still good friends. We talk about it. They're just out of money. They can't do what they need to do. So sometimes this stuff doesn't work out. I look at those occasions as learning opportunities, and then I just move on. But guess what? I didn't lose any money. I haven't risked any capital, and I hardly care because I've got so many other multiple streams of income coming in from various products and various seller accounts. You know, all of the Seller Central accounts that we're dealing with, each of these individual partners and clients have their own Seller Central account. These aren't running out of mine. You know what's running out of my Seller Central account? Nothing. I don't have anything up for sale myself. Nothing. But I manage and work with dozens of Seller Central accounts. So if one of them runs out of inventory, that's bad news, but the others are still going. If one of them gets pulled off Amazon, bad news. We work to get it back up, but I still got money coming in from others. It's insurance, it's security, like you can't imagine. And finally, the last one, my gosh, you're probably thinking, would he ever end, is this one. Remember back when they had the Gulf oil crisis and all the oil was pumping out down there? And by the way, I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and boy, did that hurt, watching on the news about all of the oil going into the Gulf down there. I now live in Tucson, Arizona, and I was watching it, but man, I mean, it was like, it was so personal and close to me seeing that go on. Well, anyway, this company came out with a new technology. It was a type of sponge. I wish you could see the video of it, where when you put it in the water, the sponge absorbs oil and grime, but it does not absorb water. It's crazy, all right? You put it in the water, just touch it to the water, and all the oil disappears. It goes into the sponge, and it's like miraculous. And because it doesn't absorb water, it doesn't provide a home for bacteria. You know how right now, if you go in your kitchen and you pick up that kitchen sponge and smell it, I promise you, it's going to stink, all right? Unless you've got it just like buried in soap or something, all right? It's going to stink. That's because there's like about 300,000 bacteria per square inch in the average household sponge, but not this one. This is like a miracle sponge. Well, anyway, these guys are up on Amazon, you know, pretty new, and I found these guys through the grommet, and Danny will be talking about that later. I didn't know them, but great product. I loved it, and I love the story behind it. I called them up, and I promise you guys, I was on the phone for like 10 minutes maybe, about 10 minutes into just talking to me, and this is with the CEO of the company. It was like, I don't need to hear anymore, Dan. He says, how do we do this? How do we get started? What do you need? It was like, and I kept saying, well, wait, don't you want to know, don't you want to know this? Don't you want to know that? I mean, gosh, I could be, you know, on the most wanted list for all you know. He was just so ready because they had been up on Amazon for a couple of months and they weren't selling anything. It just wasn't working. Now, he was in Whole Foods and he's in other places out there, and that was working, but not Amazon. And he has just been an incredible partner. That's the product right there. It's great. Their old listings are still up. We haven't switched them out yet, but those will switch out in about 2 weeks, and then we'll go to business. Folks, this is a loophole that you got to get involved in. I know you thought you were going to make a lot of money when you joined ASM, and you will. But you can do it faster and easier and safer if you do it this way. It doesn't mean that you can't do your own product. Don't try to be me. You can, yes, do your own product, but do some partnerships, do some consulting as well. Okay? Danny is later going to go through some numbers to show you how you hit these hurdles where you can't make enough take-home pay in order to turn it into the next product and the next product and the next product. This loophole allows you to do that. So take the blinders off, folks. Nothing is off limits. I've just proved that. You don't want to look like these two idiots here on this slide. ASM is much broader. It can be much, much broader if you implement the loophole. Now, I want to remind you, we need your feedback. Danny's going to jump in here. I took a little longer, but guys, you had to know this stuff. Danny's going to jump in here, and we're going to start digging into some of the how-to tonight, and we're going to talk mostly tonight, from this point forward, mostly about how to be a consultant. And then next session, next week, we will talk more about partnerships and stuff of that nature. Okay? So a consultant is what we're going to talk about most. Feedback, we need it. If you think this stuff is good, please post your kudos and comments in the Facebook group. And then I've got something else. We're thinking about this. I don't need or have to do any of this, but I love to teach. Some of you know my background. I was a teacher at the University of Illinois for about 7 or 8 years. I love to teach. And I haven't been doing any new trainings or teaching anything since I started focusing on Amazon. And this is the first one. And I started thinking that perhaps some people would want me to help them close the deals. I know that if I get a person on the phone, I can talk to them in a way that perhaps you can't, only because you're newer to this. But I can get on the phone and I can talk to a prospect if you arrange that, and I can help to close that for you, not to be a part of the deal. I'm not looking to be a part of any deals, but we may offer that as a program that would be sold. You would basically pay a fee. I don't even know what it would be at this point. But if you like all the stuff that we're talking about and you're thinking, my God, this sounds great, and sure I could find a local merchant, or sure I could find maybe somebody that's really good in a niche, or maybe I could get to somebody in a corporation, but once I've got them on the phone, I might not be able to close them. Well, we're thinking about maybe, and I couldn't do this for many, so it would be pretty exclusive, but maybe offering exclusive one-on-one help specifically in closing the prospects, where I would take the phone call and basically lay out what you would do for them, and I'm part of the team or the group that you're with, so it could be done in a way where I think that they would feel very persuaded. Many of them just, gosh, you don't even have to talk to them very long. They just say yes. But some of them need a little bit of persuasion. So anyway, we're thinking about it. So if you would be interested in me helping you with actual closing calls with prospects, you'd find the prospects, bring them to the table, and then I would do the call with you. Then let us know. You'll go to AmazingLoophole.com. That's AmazingLoophole.com, and the page will look like what you see here on the screen. And all you need to do is put, yes, I'm interested, and put in your full name and then your email address, and then check whether you're interested in the one-on-one consulting help or something else. If you happen to know someone who wasn't fortunate enough to get into this course, like go back to the ASM group on Facebook. You can give them this link and tell them, look, if you would like to be on the list to get access to this course in the future, go to AmazingLoophole.com. They can enter in their email address to get on the waiting list for when and if we release this course as a paid course. You guys got it as a bonus, great. But other people will have to pay for the course. And if they're interested, if you get them excited about it, they can come here and they can share that here. So this is a form that takes care of two things. One is if you're interested potentially in me offering one-on-one help in closing prospects for you. And the other is that if you know someone who would like to take the course, they can get on the waiting list by using that. So with that in mind, if Danny is still with us, I'm going to pass the ball. He's going to talk to you about Amazon Optimization Consultancy, which is what we're going to focus on for the rest of the night. Are you there, Danny?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. So we're going to get right down to the meat of it and talk about how to be a really great Amazon consultant. Now, just for clarity, okay, there are basically two ways that you can make a lot of money using this loophole. The first is as a consultant. So what you're going to provide is your expertise in selling products on Amazon. And your clients are going to provide the product and the inventory. This is and then in a partnership, you're going to provide that same expertise that you've learned in ASM or any other course, and your partner is going to provide either money, connections, knowledge, influence, or maybe celebrity. So in either case, what you're bringing to the table is your Amazon skill set. But what you're not bringing to the table is money or a product. That is the thrust of what we will be discussing in this Amazon Loophole program. How to consult or partner and make a lot of money on Amazon. So let me show you how this works. Here's Bob. He's a traditional Amazon seller, which means he first scrapes up some money, maybe $1,000 or $5,000, and looks for inventory to source from Alibaba and other manufacturers. And then he tests the product and gets a logo created with the appropriate label, and in many cases goes out and designs the packaging for the product, buys the minimum order quantity of maybe say 200 pieces and has them sent to FBA. And then if all goes well, then he worries about optimizing the AdWords product page, and he thinks about how to increase his ratings, how to optimize the pricing, and then how to do all the Amazon promotions like buy one, get one free. Now, this is a very simplistic and reductive view of what a typical Amazon seller from the Amazing Selling Machine would do, but it gives you a picture of the type of work that would be done by a traditional seller. Many of you are doing this right now. Now, let me show you what it's like to be an Amazon optimization consultant. So because you're partnering with a company that already has a product and already has inventory, you don't need to worry about sourcing products. You don't need to worry about testing the products or about creating the logo and the label or packaging the product or even sending it to FBA. Instead, you're going to be focused on different tasks. You'll be focused not on sourcing products, but sourcing clients. You'll also focus on Amazon optimizations, improving the ratings, the pricing, and doing all of the Amazon promotions, as well as brainstorming ideas with your client and keeping your client happy and informed throughout the process. So you see, as an optimization consultant, you generally focus on improving sales after the product has been sourced, named, labeled, and packaged. And sure, occasionally you may suggest repackaging or relabeling, but that's really the exception. For the majority of the time, you'll be dealing much more heavily with marketing. So that's how the tasks are going to be a bit different. But what else is different? Well, generally, you're going to encounter a growth hurdle as a traditional Amazon seller. Let me give you an example to show you how this works. Let's say that you invest $3,000 in startup inventory and you gross $6,000, so after Amazon takes their share, you might have $5,000 left over. While that seems really great at first, now you need even more inventory since your sales is starting to climb. So you skip taking a profit and you invest all $5,000 to get more inventory. And then you may sell $10,000 this time around, but after Amazon takes their share, you're left with $8,000, which seems great, but now you need to invest even more in inventory. So you can't take any profit yet, and you're months into this now. On the surface, you're making money, but in reality, you're temporarily flat broke. You can't even think of investing in more products. I mean, I've seen some Amazon sellers struggle through this conundrum for months and months and months, sometimes even a year, and you're still only managing a single product. As an Amazon optimization consultant, on the other hand, you'll work right from the beginning on many different products for different clients, which means that you'll have a lot of breadth, and you'll see how different products react to changes in the marketplace a lot better. In addition, you might be able to sell much more expensive or complicated products. So for example, as a traditional Amazon seller, it might be tough for you to white label your own $200 coffee machine or your own $300 down comforter set, since you'll incur a huge loss if your inventory doesn't sell. But when you're an Amazon optimization consultant, you can easily represent either of these product categories since you're not really taking the risk of buying the inventory. Now granted, the best opportunities for profiting on Amazon might exist with products from $20 to $50, but you're not restricted as an Amazon optimization consultant to any category. As an optimization consultant, you'll also focus on building relationships with manufacturers in the US or in the country where you live. And these relationships can often be very long-lasting and might even lead to full-time job offers at various companies. And while that may not be the goal for most of you, there are always a few that would welcome a solid job with a solid paycheck, and that's definitely a possibility once you get really good at this. One final note is that once you do get good at this, you're going to find companies will refer you to many other companies. You become the goose that lays the golden eggs, and word gets around faster than you think. Finally, you may be curious about compensation. After all, if you remember in our earlier outline, it seems that an Amazon seller does a lot more work in sourcing the products, in branding, in packaging the product, and they take a lot more risk in buying inventory. So you would think that maybe the Amazon seller makes more money. But that's actually not true. Generally, 50% of the sales a traditional Amazon seller makes is profit. An Amazon optimization consultant generally generates in the range of 15 to 25% of sales as profit. However, because the consultant doesn't have to deal with sourcing and inventory management or packaging, the consultant is able to use their time to actually manage multiple products. So in the same amount of time that it takes a traditional seller to sell a single product with profits of 50% of sales, an Amazon optimization consultant can generally handle about 3 product lines, each with 20% of profits, for a total of 60%. So for example, if your 3 clients collectively net $60,000 a month or $20,000 each, 20% of $60,000 would give you about $12,000 of take-home pay per month. If you do a single product as a traditional seller, netting $20,000, you'd get 50% in profits, which is $10,000, but then you're going to need to reinvest that in even more inventory. So you can see being an optimization consultant can be just as profitable as being a traditional seller. And remember, the worst that can happen for a traditional Amazon seller is that they're left with hundreds of products in inventory and they've lost thousands of dollars sourcing it. The worst that can happen with an Amazon product optimization consultant is that the client isn't happy with the results and that's it. You lost the client. And that's why this role is an amazing way to earn a great living. You're going to be able to have, basically manage multiple products at a time. And if we can go to the next slide, you'll see that you're going to be able to have a lot of profits. You're going to be able to incur very, very little risk. You're going to be able to build relationships with clients in the US or in your own country rather than manufacturers overseas. And you'll focus your efforts on marketing rather than creating the product. On the flip side, you will have less control of the product since it's already been created, and then you're going to have to spend some time finding clients as well as negotiating contracts and deals with them. So then the question is, which should you do? Which should you focus on? Should you be a traditional Amazon seller or an optimization consultant? Well, we actually recommend that you do both traditional sales as well as consulting at the same time. Get one or two solo products going and then implement this loophole strategy concurrently. It's the best of both worlds. Plus, it gives you a lot more security. We can't forget, Amazon can cut off our business or reduce our sales to almost zero overnight. And it's actually smart to assume something like this will happen. Maybe a competitor, they can do some crazy damage to our Amazon business in just a moment's notice. Seriously, I've seen this happen every day. And knowing this makes it even more important that you expand your horizons, that you ensure the future by consulting and partnering right now. This loophole is like your Amazon insurance policy. Now I'm going to hand it over to Dan again, who's going to talk to you about how to identify these great potential clients.
Okay, guys, and I want to remind you that we will open this up for a few questions at the end, and if you have any more discussions, we'll do that on Facebook. Okay, here's the deal. We don't want to make you think that what you're currently doing is not a good idea. It is a good idea. Because first of all, by doing your own product, especially as a newbie in this business, that's the way you learn the skill sets and kind of how everything works. So you can't just start as a consultant. I mean, I was able to do it because I had all the experience from way back at The Secret. Remember that story? That's where I really got my skill set, was way back then. All right? But for you guys, your experience comes from you doing your first product on your own. All right? Then you will kind of know the ropes. Then when you go and find a client or a partner, you're not just, basing it on some stuff you read about. You've actually done it. So it's important that you've gone through the whole process of doing ASM as it's taught and very traditional. Also, if it works for you, and it should, you can continue to do that. We're not saying don't do one, do the other. We're just saying do both. Okay? Start with one, then as quickly as you can get into partnering and clients. When it comes to partners, I suggest that you think about what are your weaknesses. Okay? What are you not good at? For me, it was simple. I'm not good at inventory. I don't like dealing with spreadsheets and all that stuff. The solution? Find somebody that loves to do that stuff. Partner, and it's the best of both worlds. So you just need to take a close look based on what you know about this business. There's so many things to do. And find a partner that's very good at the parts that you're weak at. And what you can do, be picky. And you can often find partners that have multiple assets that they bring to the table. They may be really good at creating labels and stuff. I love doing labels. I mean, I could just do labels all day and night because I'm very good at design. Okay, but you may not be. Now, I know you can go and source this or outsource this and whatever, but you may be able to find somebody that's just really good at design work who happens to also have $30,000 in the bank, right? And maybe they could do the design and also put up the money. What I'm saying is, in looking for partners, try to find what's missing from the equation, what you're not good at, what you don't have. Now, since we're going to focus on clients in today's session or tonight's session, I do want to underscore that there's no money made in just calling clients. So you weave this in between the stuff that you're doing. But you probably already found that, well, okay, my product's being shipped now and you've got a week before something else happens. Sometimes there's a lot of downtime as you wait for certain mechanics of this strategy to work. That's when you can be out finding prospects. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to find them. It's pretty easy and what have you. But you don't get paid for just calling the clients. So to maximize, you need to track things. Here are some things. It's a checklist of what you need to look for when looking for a good prospect or a good product or a good partner or a good client. Okay? When it comes to the product, you want to make sure that it's something that's interesting. Now, what I mean is this. You have to deal intimately with these products in order for them to be successful online. I cannot tell you how much time I have spent with sponges in the last 30 days. I've read everything there is about sponges. I know that on Shark Tank, the #1 selling product of every product that was ever on that television show was their, the Scrub Daddy sponge. I mean, I couldn't believe it, but yes, that was it. All right. I know about the Gulf oil spill, and I know about how they make the scrubber pad out of walnut shells, and I've studied the literature and whatever. Now, why? It isn't because I have a natural interest in it, but I was interested in it because it was in the oil spill was in the Gulf. I'm from there. That was close to me. I'm into natural things, okay? I happen to be a cook. I work in the kitchen a lot. And so I'm used to cleaning things and whatever. So even though I never would have thought of a sponge, all of a sudden I got really interested in it. What I'm saying is that it needs to be an interesting product, but most importantly, interesting to you. I mean, in general, sponges aren't all that interesting. But if there's not some connection between you and the product, you're probably going to hate doing it, and it's not going to work out. So you need to find a product that somehow you connect to. Now, when I'm talking about a product, I'm not talking about you sourcing it. I'm talking about you finding the product. Either it's already up on Amazon, or maybe it's off on some other site someplace, or it's a local business or whatever. In other words, go for products that you think that you could get real intimate with and have an interest in it, because you have to think about all of the keywords and write bullet points and the titles and the descriptions and all of that kind of stuff. And that takes a ton of time. You've got to create images, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images in order to put them up. And they've got to be killer, absolutely killer. And you have to obsess on this stuff to perfect it so that it's better than all the competition. And it will impress the heck out of your client at the same time. That can't be done unless it's an interesting product that you are interested in. Now, as you go and look, one great place to look is Amazon itself. gosh, it's a treasure trove of failed products. Not because the product was bad, but because the merchant trying to sell it didn't know what they were doing. We're going to talk more about it, but in general, you can go to Amazon, and this holds true at other places that sell products as well. But you can go to Amazon and you can look. If they don't have any reviews, that's fixable, right? You know strategies you've learned through your training in ASM or other courses that shows you how to help get product reviews. That's fixable. You know how to fix it. The client that you're thinking of approaching does not. In fact, they might not even know that getting a review is even of any value. Or else they just ignore it and they start getting some bad reviews, and it's really unfair because it's a good product. It just so happened that most people that write reviews are people that want to complain. So you can help. It's fixed. It's fixable. Images. I can't tell you how many products you can go to on Amazon and they've got all of one image. Just adding 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 more images makes a huge difference. That's fixable. You could do that, right? And if you're not good at images and design, you can go and outsource or find someone that does that for you and provide it to the client. You just take care of it. And you know the type of images that need to go up. Images that engage, that are interesting, that stand out, that pop on the search results page. An image that looks good even though it's the size of a postage stamp, because that's the first image that a person sees after they've done a keyword search at Amazon. Little tiny image, and it's got to pop. You need to get good at that. It's fixable. It needs to be a kind of cool product title, something that not only catches the reader's interest, but also has the appropriate keywords in there so that it's going to pull up and rank in search. You can fix titles. You know how to do that. You can go and look at many titles at Amazon and they'll be like 3 words. That's it. Where you can go in and do a nice title of maybe 100 or 200 characters or so. Don't overdo it. The product description and the bullet points. Most people that don't know what they're doing, they've just got like skimpy little bullet points that'll say it's black, you know, it's 3 inches by 4 inches, you know, it'll degrade, you know, it's environmentally safe. I mean, just some stupid little 3 points that nobody cares about. And you know how to write bullet points that not only contain your keywords, but also help to convince a buyer to buy. That's fixable. The description. You know how to write good sales copy. Or you can go out and find somebody that writes good sales copy to take the verbiage about the product and turn it into sales copy so that your description closes the sale. It's fixable. Low inventory. There are many, many products on Amazon where you can go there and you can determine how much inventory they have. And if they don't have that much and you check it, you know, every day for like a week or 2 weeks, you can just see that maybe it's just kind of been abandoned. There are many products where people have put it up, they gave it a little bit of effort, it didn't work out, and then it sits there, and maybe they've got 10 units in stock and it just stays at 10 forever and ever and ever. That's a signal that this is a potentially fixable situation. Pricing is another one. Maybe they just don't have it priced right. That was the problem, one of the problems that I saw with the sponges. They had the pricing all wrong. They had the bundling of the product wrong. It wasn't anything wrong with the product. It was just the way it looked up on the site, the pricing that they had. They also had too many sponges. They had like freaking 20 different variations, and I was thinking, my God, you got to have a PhD to even know which sponge to buy. Nobody's going to go to Amazon and invest that much time trying to figure it out. Let's give them like 2 choices. There's sponge A and then there's sponge B. or sponge bundle A and sponge bundle B, 2 choices, you know, which one you want. That's it. You don't need 20 different sponges to have to pick from. That causes people to go, forget that noise, I'm just going to go over here and buy what is it, a Mr. Magic or whatever. All of this stuff is fixable. And that's what you want to look for. You want to find a product that interests you, that will interest customers, and the problems that the product has are fixable. If you see a product that's got an inherent problem in the product itself that's going to require the client to fix it, that's much harder. Okay? I couldn't all of a sudden tell the guys with the sponges that, hey, I know you're making these scrubbers out of walnuts, but it'd be a lot better if you made it out of pecans. They'd say, well, maybe it would be, but gosh, that would require retooling, resourcing, you know, it would take a year. You know, changing the product is hard. So what you're going to do is find something that you wish that you could invest money in if you had it. In other words, think about it this way. If I had the money in my pocket, this is the kind of product that I would put my own money in and sell it on Amazon if I could. But since I don't have the money, or maybe I just don't want to put my money into it, or maybe I've got my money tied up in other products, you then find somebody else that brings the product to the table. So you shop for the type of product that you're going to work with in a similar fashion as if you were going to invest your own money. And if it meets that criteria, if you would be willing to put your own money into it, then that means it's a worthy product. Simple enough. Now, when you go to Amazon and look for products, one of the things you need to be really careful about is making sure that it's not a product that already has tons or of multiple merchants selling it. You're going to approach the manufacturer or the owner of this product, and you're going to ask them for an exclusive on Amazon. And if they will not give you an exclusive, the call's over. You will not ever accept a client who will not give you the exclusive on Amazon. Because if you do all of this work, you run it up the ranks and it's selling like crazy, any Tom, Dick, or Harry can just come along and pop up and start selling your product. That's why you do white label, is so that you own the page exclusively and no one else can ever sell your product, right? Well, this is the same. It's just that you have to do it in a different fashion. You still want it to only be your product, but you're not white labeling it. Instead, you're getting an exclusive on it. And occasionally, you'll find a product that's just perfect, you love it, and you'll look over and you'll say, there are other sellers. You know how to look on the page and tell that. But you look on the page and over to the right, if there are other people that are selling the same product, you think, well, geez. The sponge also was an example of that. There was one other seller selling it. So one of the very first questions that I asked the owner of the company when they got on the call, I tell them very briefly what I could do for them, but then I said, look, before we go any further, can I ask you about this other distributor or seller that's selling? And then they told me about it. And I said, well, look, I can't do what it is that I'm talking about if there's another seller there. So I need to know right now that if I can show you how you can sell more sponges by working with me, is it possible for you to get that distributor out of the game? And if I didn't get a yes, it was, well, look, I appreciate it. If you could ever figure out how to get that part done, give me a call back and we'll go from there. But it can't be done any other way. It's exclusive or it's a dead deal. Now, there will always, from time to time, be secondary sellers that pop up. You guys may have experienced that. Maybe they'll get your product, maybe one or two of them, and they'll put it up and they'll sell it and then they're gone. There's no problem with that. I'm talking about you want to make sure that the manufacturer isn't supplying your competition. All right? Even if maybe you had a scenario where they said, well, look, we have this other distributor who's got the product up. They're not really doing that good or whatever, but, you know, we sold them 100 units and, you know, they're selling them on Amazon. So either they just never refill and you just get cycled through the 100 they have there, or else you tell that manufacturer they just need to buy the product back, or pay them something. Whatever it takes. They've got to be history. You've got to get rid of them. You've got to have an exclusive. So you're looking for products on Amazon that only have one merchant, and if there is already another merchant, you make sure that that is something you talk about very early on. If they've got a dozen other merchants, then don't even bother calling them. They've already gone down a different path for selling their product. They've got multiple distributors, and they're all fighting each other on the same page, and you'll just become one more of the people fighting, even though you're partnered with the manufacturer or consulting with the manufacturer. Critically important. Single product. This is also important. You're going to hit upon many manufacturers or companies that have a product line. Maybe they have 10 different products. What you need to do is one of two things. You either tell them, look, why don't we pull all your product, if they're not doing well on Amazon, this is reasonable. But why don't you pull all of your products off of Amazon, and let's go with the best seller. Which one is your best seller? Not the best seller on Amazon, but you're selling in other places, right? You know, maybe you're selling in Walmart, or maybe you're selling, you know, wherever. You know, tell me what is your best seller. I want to take your best seller, and we're going to only do that one product on Amazon, and you and I are going to figure out how to work together and make sure we like each other. And I want to prove to you that I can do this and make you a lot of money. And once we are successful with one, then boy, right after that, as soon as you're smiling, then boom, we'll do product number 2. And as soon as that one gets going, then we'll do product number 3. And so it goes. So sometimes you open the door to a chain of products. But my point is, do it one product at a time. Don't try to take it all on. The other thing that's great about that is that it's easier for the client to say yes. Now, if they won't take their other products off, and sometimes they won't, especially if they're getting kind of modest sales, you just say, no problem. You leave the other ones up, but I'm only going to focus on one, that's it, period, and it's over. But if I'm successful with the one, then you have to agree that gradually I'll take over the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one. Now, the reason you don't want to do that as the first choice is because time is going to pass, and these other products that they have up, bad things could happen. If they're not managing those other products right, if the listing isn't posted, you know, they don't have it posted right, they could start getting bad reviews. And even though it was clean in the beginning, here you are working on one product, you get it successful, you turn around to go back to grab the next one. It's been sitting on Amazon unoptimized, not managed very well, and now all of a sudden it's got 8, you know, 1-star reviews. You trying to take that over is a much harder situation, because now you're trying to clean up a mess, and that you don't want to do. In those kinds of cases, I'll tell them, look, product's got to come down. I'm not going to touch it. Product's got to come down. And then let's rebundle it, let's change the color, let's do something, definitely change the UPC, and let's just get rid of the one that's got the bad reviews and is not doing very good, and just come out with a new one, even if we have to change the name, whatever it takes. And you don't give them like, you know, hey, you know, would you think about doing this? No, you are the optimization expert. It's your way or the highway. There are no ifs, ands, or buts in certain things that you talk to clients about. You do one product, and I want to tell you the even bigger reason that you're going to do one product. It's true that it's best to just focus on one and get it going and everything, and it's true that the client is more likely to just give you one product because they're kind of wanting to test you as well. And if it all works out, then great. Gravy train comes after that. But I want to tell you the main reason that I do one product. I want to make sure that I can work with this client. I don't need a headache. I want to have a client that is either just leaves me alone or is a really good partner, one or the other. Okay? I want one that we can get on the phone and just chat about ideas, about the product and brainstorm and whatever. And a lot of times they'll know so much about things you never thought about because they're in another world. But some of that stuff is valuable, and you just morph it around a little bit, and it makes your ability to sell it on Amazon even better. But sometimes they're aloof, they're gone, you can't get a hold of them or whatever, and that's okay with me too. You just get out of the way. As long as you provide the inventory and the product, I'm okay with that. I'll just take care of everything else, and as long as you pay me my percentage, I'm okay with that. I prefer not to have that, but that's better than having one that's just a pain in the butt, all right, or one that's grumpy or one that thinks they know it all. So the reason I do one product first is because I want to make sure this is a relationship that I even want to be in. And I would not even hesitate to walk away from a product if that client is giving me trouble. Guys, they are a dime a dozen out there. You'll learn something, maybe make a little bit of money, and if they're just driving you nuts, you just start looking around for another one and go with that one and just let that one just say, hey, look, because the way we will tell you to write these agreements, I'm not an attorney and Danny's not an attorney either, but we're going to give you some bullet points for how to structure these deals. Anytime you want to bail, you just bail. It doesn't cost you anything except that you probably won't get any more commission checks. But if it's not working out, whatever, you just go and move on to the next one. All right? Now, I've only had two of my clients not work out. They're both still, I want to say, friends. I mean, I didn't know them beforehand, but we worked together. I liked their personalities. We got to know each other. Both of them still have their products up on Amazon. Every once in a while, they'll drop me a note and whatever. I told them, look, you don't have to pay me anymore. It just didn't work out. It just wasn't booming enough for me to devote any more time on it. But they still see me as a friend, as a consultant, or whatever. It's just I kind of let the thing just kind of, wither away, and I'm not worried about it. It didn't work. The popcorn didn't work. You know what? I told her. I said, listen, you've got the greatest popcorn I've ever tasted, but people aren't familiar with the flavor, and Amazon makes it hard. So I've got an idea. Why don't you come out with a more traditional flavor? You own all the machinery. She's got the biggest popcorn machines you've ever seen. And she's selling stuff like crazy through, stores and different things like that. But it's the flavor, I think, is what the issue is. She might do it. And if she calls me up one day and she says, Dan, I've decided I'm going to do like a butter flavor. Maybe we can just come up with something, a real ingenious name to it or something, whatever. Then guess what? That'd be great. I'd jump right back in and we try it again. But, I told her, I tell people blunt and honestly what's working and what doesn't. I tell people blunt, honestly, if I know how to do something or if I don't. And I tell them, look, I know a lot about Amazon and I've helped a lot of people be successful there, but there's so much crazy stuff that goes on Amazon. I said, I will promise you that something crazy is going to happen as we go into this partnership. Amazon's going to do something just that I've never heard of before, and I said, if I don't know how to get it solved, I said, here's what I can guarantee you. I know how to find the answer, and we're going to figure out how to solve the problem, and we'll work together to get it done. And guess what? It happens over and over and over again. If Amazon is anything, they've got a list of crazy things. I think they must have a crazy list of things that they can do to just freak you out. And I think I'm like on number 50 of all the crazy things, and I bet their list goes to 1,000. So you never know, but we figure it all out, and that's what I want. I want a client or partner that I can just work with, and you just be honest with them. You give it your all, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then thank them and you move on. Okay, single product. That's the way you start. competent people, actually just people that you can work with. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Danny, and he's going to talk a little bit about specifically how to find products. And I need to pass the screen over to you, Danny. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Somebody's calling me on the phone, so let me get my screen sharing thing here, and I will pass it over. Okay, here you go. You should have it now.
Great.
Danny's going to go through some actual live searches and demos online. So I'm passing it over to him, and he'll go into the web browser at Amazon and some other sites and actually show you how you can go about finding some specific products. Some of the examples that he's going to show you will reflect right back to some of the actual real clients and partners that I have, because every single thing that he's going to show you you can do, I have actually done it and done it with success.
Great. So, you know, one of my favorite ways of finding prospects is to look for Amazon sleeper products. These are basically Amazon products that are just not performing very well. You know, good products, we all know they generally have at least, 30 reviews, really good high quality images. They have at least 4 really compelling bullet points. They're Prime eligible. They have an 8,000 or better BSR. And searches for relevant keywords will show them up on the first page. The title also generally includes the relevant search keywords or the color. And the description of the product is formatted and written with really good sales copy rather than some boring notes. Any product that you find that doesn't meet these above minimal criteria can really use your help. So how do you find those products really quickly? Well, the most basic way is to just do a search for products that are not selling well on Amazon. So for example, let's say you're really into coffee. Okay, I know I certainly am. So you can go on Amazon and you'll just go to the department, let's see, it's home and garden, kitchen and dining, and we'll just find some coffee machines. Here are some espresso machines. And what you'll notice is that the products are actually organized based on popularity. So these products are the ones that are selling a ton. So they're not the ones that are going to need necessarily a consultant to help them out because they're already selling hundreds of these. But as you go lower and lower into the next pages, you're going to find the products that are not selling particularly well. So what I would really like to do in this case is maybe, go to page 20 to find products that are really not working that well at all on Amazon. Now, unfortunately, you can see here, I can't just click on page 20 from here. And I don't want to have to click next page, next page, next page every single time because that would just take too much time. So I'm going to show you a little trick to get on to any page that you'd like on the search results. So what you would do is you would just copy the URL that's in your browser and just paste it into some word processing document. So I'll paste it right here. And you'll notice that there are 2 references to something that looks like a page number. The first one is here, where it says page 3, ? And the second one is the one that says page equals 3. And that's the one that we need to edit in order to go to the appropriate page. So for example, let's say we're interested in going to page 21 of the search results. We'll just type in 21 and we'll copy this back into our browser. And lo and behold, what you'll notice is that we are in fact now in page 21 of the search results seeing coffee machines that really aren't selling well at all. And so you can click on any one of these and you'll see these have a lot of what we termed earlier fixable mistakes. The fact that there's only a single product image is a fixable mistake. We can definitely help them to create more images that are of higher quality so that when you mouse over them, it actually activates the zoom. We can help them to improve their product title. We can help them improve their bullet points and get more customer ratings and get it on Amazon Prime. You know, these are great things that we can do to help them out. So what do we do when we find a possible client? Well, we should write down the information somewhere so that we can keep track of it. So what I like to do is just copy down the manufacturer and put it in a spreadsheet. So here we have Ascaso, and I'll just put down the product link as well. Now you'll notice there's a section here where I usually put in the contact information. So this could be like the phone number of the client or their email address or the names of people that are in the organization that I want to talk to. We're going to go over how to find this contact information a little bit later. For now, all we're focused is on finding these prospective manufacturers of products that you can really help boost their sales on Amazon. So that's the general gist. Let's do this one more time, okay? This time, we'll search for a keyword rather than going through a category. So for example here, I'll just go back to the general category and we'll type in organic pasta sauce since, again, it's a product I'm interested in. I love cooking and I love pasta. And here we can see, again, all of the search results for the products that are already selling pretty well on Amazon. And if we click on the next page, we can see then the products that are selling a little bit less well and a little bit less well. So let's say, for example, we wanted to go to page 8 of the search results. We'd do the same thing that we did before. We'd go up to the address bar, copy the URL, we can put it on our Word document, and we'll see where it says page equals, which is right here, page equals to. So let's say I want to go to page 8. We'll change that so that it says page 8. And then I'll copy that back and put it into my browser. And bam, we're on page 8. Now, looking at products that could really, really benefit from your help. You know, let's take a look at just, one of these, like Greenview, Kitchen Organic sauces, okay? Again, no ratings. It's not eligible for Prime. It only has a single product picture that's not particularly high quality. It doesn't activate the zoom. The bullet points could be a lot better than they are. So this might be a great product to help out with, a great company to partner with. And you can even see here, if you click on the company's name, a bunch of other sauces that they manufacture. So when you contact them, just as Dan was saying, you want to tell them that you're going to focus on their best-selling sauce first, right? But later, in the back of your mind, you'll know that if it goes well with that first sauce, you're going to be able to represent them and help consult for multiple products. And that is really, really powerful. So that's how you find some great clients, by looking at these sleeper products. But that's not the only way to find great clients. Another way is to look at websites about new products like Grommet and Quirky. Let me just show you that right now, really quickly. Let's go to thegrommet.com. This is a website for brand new products. Okay, so I'll just go to a category of interest, let's say tech and gadgets. And here they have tons of different products that are pretty new. And you can just look for any one that you think might do great on Amazon. Let's say, here's Epic ID, which is, it seems like a bracelet for some sort of emergency. Okay? And you can see on Amazon whether it's being sold. So we can just go on Amazon and type in Epic ID. And I can see that, they actually don't seem to be selling it on Amazon. So this might be another potentially great client to talk to see if they would be interested in selling their product on Amazon. So we'll copy their name here, copy the URL into our spreadsheet so we keep everything organized. Okay? And then at the end, we're going to have a very long list of potential clients. It's amazing how many clients you could find. Because this, as I was mentioning, is not the only website. Here are some other recommendations. There's Quirky, there's I New Idea homepage, there's the Invention Connection, and then there's two that you probably are already very familiar with, like Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Now, these two sites are great for raising money to build particular products, right? I mean, everyone knows Kickstarter has raised money for tons and tons of different products. So we can actually go into Kickstarter and we can try and find potential clients. So we can just click on a category that we're interested in, say technology. And what we can do is we can organize everything based on the products that have actually gotten a lot of funding. And the reason that I like to do this is because a lot of Kickstarter projects actually don't end up getting fully funded, right? And so they never ended up getting enough money to actually create their product. So we'll click on most funded, and then we can just go down the list and see if there are any products that seem like they would sell well on Amazon. For example, let's click on this one. This might be a great product. It's a USB flash drive. And here you can see the manufacturer. So we can add that to our spreadsheet and add the URL to the spreadsheet, and there we go. We have yet another potential client. So that's how you could find potential clients, through these websites for new products. But there's even more places to find clients. Clients are everywhere. And one place is through your own personal connections and social connections, through family, through friends of friends. Okay? And these people are actually already pretty easy to, sell your services to because they already know you. Okay? So if you already have friends or friends of friends who you can think of that are selling something that could be a fit for Amazon, feel free to take a couple of minutes right now and jot down their names on your spreadsheet. Once you've done that, we want to review one final way that we've had success identifying potential clients. And that's by finding experts in the field who have already a product or they want to create one. This could be a celebrity or expert in any profession, from sports, fashion, tech, infomercials. It could be a famous magazine editor or someone on the radio, a YouTube celebrity, a well-known speaker, a well-known author, a social media maven. Think of celebrity as anyone with influence over a list, traffic, or a fan base. Because of their existing fan base, they can do a lot of the marketing for you. In fact, they may even be able to tweet about the product for you, which is how a lot of celebrities are making a lot of money. And what's great about these individuals is that they generally love to monetize their celebrity or their traffic, but they're so busy doing what they love that they just don't have the time or the expertise to be good at marketing or selling products on Amazon. The typical model is to run ads. And, as we all know, ads don't really pay a whole lot. And they don't often match the image of the celebrity well at all. So, if they already have an existing product they're trying to sell, like this guy over here, you can help them sell it better on Amazon. And if they don't have an existing product, you can instead tell them a little bit about how Amazon works, and convince them to partner with you on a product that has their name on it. In terms of the product itself, these experts are so knowledgeable in their field that they often know exactly the best places to find inventory. So all you really have to worry about is marketing the product through Amazon. Now, the only thing to keep in mind is that the product should be able to stand on its own. And Dan mentioned this a little bit earlier when he said that it should be investment worthy. It should be able to stand on its own and be a high quality product that people actually like. The expert is just there to give you a little extra boost, a little extra marketing horsepower, extra sales. But at the end of the day, it should still be a product that you think can compete well with others on Amazon. So we've gone over 4 different ways of finding clients. We've gone over how to find them using Amazon Sleepers, how to find them through new product sites, through your social connections with your friends and family, and through celebrities. And we've added all of these potential clients on our spreadsheet to keep everything organized. But we're missing one very important piece of information. And that's right here, their contact information. How can we contact them if we don't have their phone number, their email? So we're going to need to find it. And there are a couple of ways that we can quickly do that. The first is just by looking at their website. You'd be amazed how easy this can be. Often, all of their contact information is listed on their About Us section, or they have a Contact Us link. That's a great place to start. But if you don't find any contact information on their website, there's also another option, which is to try and find them on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, if you aren't familiar with it, it's a website that's very similar to Facebook, but it's focused on people's careers. Okay? So you can use it to find people in various different companies. I could type in here, for example, CEO of Hyper, which is that manufacturer of the ice stick that I showed you earlier, and his name would pop up, and I would be able to message him directly. So that is a great and really powerful tool for trying to find exactly the people that you're going to need to talk to in order to convince them to partner with you. But it's not over. You can actually also contact people directly through Amazon. So often where you see the item that says shipped and sold by, and then it lists the seller's name, you can click on that to see more information about the seller. And right at the very bottom, there's a link that says contact this seller. And that will allow you to actually contact the seller directly and send them a message. Now, the only thing about this strategy that you have to keep in mind is that Amazon can look at those messages. So you don't want to make it a blatant sales pitch, right? You want to simply, message them, asking them to talk more about the product. Something that doesn't imply that you're selling them your services. So now that we've found all of these prospective clients, we have it on the spreadsheet, and we have all of their contact information. Now we're ready to actually make the sale. So I'm going to hand it over to Dan now, who's going to show us exactly how to do that, how to make the sale so that we can actually start earning the income and helping these clients that actually need a lot of help.
Okay, let me see. I think I lost my screen here. There. Okay, so how to make yourself look good. I'm just going to be kind of brief in this section because I believe many of you know how to do this. I just want to underscore the fact that it's really important and that you need to do it. So what I said is you know how to do it, but you need to do it in order for this to work. Here's a scenario. If a truck pulled up in your neighborhood and a nice handsome guy popped out and wanted to sell you some ice cream, you'd probably think, oh, looks like a respectable business, and sure, I'll have some ice cream. But if someone else pulled up in a truck that really didn't look like it was for ice cream, and maybe they just didn't have the look of an ice cream salesperson, you'd probably say, I don't know if I want to do business with them. This is an extreme analogy, but this is really what you have to think about when you go to work with clients. You've selected them because you've spent time, you've studied their product and compared it to others, you like the product, maybe you even bought the product, which isn't a bad idea, tested it, and you've looked at their reviews, you've read their web, you know a lot about them. Now you're reaching out to them and saying, hey, I can help you to fix a problem you have, I can help you to sell more of your product on Amazon. Guess what? They're going to want to do the same with you. Yes, a certain percentage of it is based on just how you sound on the phone and how you communicate through email, but they're going to do a little digging. So you need to have some sites and some information out on the web that actually talks about you as an Amazon optimization consultant. Now, you can call yourself anything that's a variant on that. It might be an Amazon product consultant or an Amazon optimization consultant or an Amazon strategist or an Amazon marketer. I mean, anything you want, as long as it is an Amazon, I help you to improve your business kind of a thing. All right? They're going to be digging. In addition, what if they say, yeah, I want you to do this? Almost immediately you get into this conversation of, well, do you have a contract or an agreement that that you normally use, like a consulting agreement, okay? And you want to have those types of answers and situations set up. We'll deal more with this as we go through. But one of the key things is you want to be able to look like you're an official company. You're incorporated. All right. Now you can get incorporated these days for somewhere between $500 to $1,000. And I'm certainly no expert in that, but I am involved in dozens of corporations and have several myself. Each of them set up to handle a different partnership or a different a consultation arrangement that I have. But when you first make the call, if you've got this stuff set up, you just come across as being more professional. So you can set up a corporation, you can create a website, I'll give you some examples later, that just focuses on you as an Amazon consultant. You can create a profile at LinkedIn that touts about you being an Amazon consultant, and if you already have a profile over there, you might want to enhance that part of the profile so that that's really front and center if you're going to do this. And then you can also take this even further and actually promote yourself as an Amazon consultant, either by doing some publicity yourself or even running Google AdWords and stuff like that and promoting yourself as an Amazon consultant in order to have clients and potential partners actually contacting you. So let's talk about just a few of these things in a little bit more depth. The advantages of you setting up the corporation is, first, you actually seem more like a legitimate business or consultant to them. It will give you liability protection. You'll need to set up a business banking account because the client or partner is going to be either wiring or doing just transfers to you or mailing a check or whatever. You need to have a business name, a business account all set up. And then also you end up with tax benefits as a result of that as well. Folks assume you're going to be making a lot of money. If you do this, you can. So be prepared and have that set up. Now, resources, these are the obvious: LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer. There you can not only set up a corporation, you can also talk to your local, or maybe you already have an attorney or counsel, but you can do it through these sources as well. Also, while you're there at LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer, look around at some of the consulting agreements. Danny and I can't literally provide you with a contract because we're not legal counsel, but we will give you points, bullet points of things that should be covered in your contracts and things to think about. I've done quite a few at this point, and so I'll be able to kind of bullet point that. So you can either get just kind of a template at LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer and add the points to it, or you can have your legal counsel do that for you. If you hear my dog barking in the back, it's because my wife is just coming home. I'll stop in a moment. Okay, the next thing is creating a website. Okay, you need to do that, and you can do that through either WordPress, Squarespace, Behance, I guess that's how you pronounce it, Fiverr. You can outsource it and have them build one for you. Go to Elance. These are pretty obvious. Or you can also go to Odesk. The point is that you need to have a little mini website or a single web page that talks about you as an Amazon consultant, and that's it. All right? That's it. And that is the link that you would put in your emails when you contact these people and say, hey, I stumbled upon your product. I really love it. I actually ordered it. My wife and I have used it. It's great. I happen to be an Amazon optimization expert. I think I could really blow it through the roof. Perhaps if we could chat about it. I mean, even if we can't work out something, I can probably give some tips to help you on Amazon. I mean, whatever you need to say. And you send it over, and you can include a link to your website. Trust me, they will read it, they will be interested, they will click the link, and if you've got a page set up that presents yourself as a consultant, then that's great. Put a picture of yourself up, not one you had made at Sears and Roebuck, just a really something kind of nice and interesting, or a well-designed site. That is worth its weight in gold. Even if you have to pay for it, you might have to spend $50 to have somebody set one up for you. Now you're in business. Okay? You can gain some publicity once you've got your site up, and once you or got your corporation and stuff set up. Then you can actually go out and market yourself as this and have people call you if you want to. All right? I don't do that. But it's only because I'm getting more inquiries now than I can handle, and it's really just cherry picking is what I do. But in the beginning, you might want to just put out a press release. You'll get response, okay, or seek some type of publicity. As long as you've got a site, you can do a press release. In fact, do a press release to announce your site when you put it up. When it's time to connect with these potential clients, you just need to shoot over kind of a casual email. I have a couple here. There's nothing magic about these emails. It's just to show you how simple it is. This one here is if there's a product that you're already using. In fact, this is a great place to start. Look around your house, and there's probably 1,000 products in your house. Okay, there are products that you know and you love and you use and you order it all the time. You could be selling those products. Do like I do. The next time you go to the store, look around, especially if you go to Whole Foods, there's all kinds of products there that are local products, and these people are trying to figure out how to sell their products at various places. But anyway, at the end of the day, you need to drop them a note. Hi, James, I just wanted to reach out to you because I love your product, whatever it is, you would name it there. And I think it has strong potential to sell much more on Amazon. I'd love to talk to you about ways that we could perhaps work together to improve your sales. Would you be open to a chat in the next couple of weeks? All the best, and then put your name. Just something casual like that. You don't need to copy this word for word. The next thing is reaching out to known product sellers, perhaps through some of the strategies that Danny shared with you where maybe you found it on Amazon. I was looking at Amazon products and thought that I thought had potential to sell more when I stumbled across whatever your product name is. I've recently created a startup. It helps companies such as yours to increase sales on Amazon. The results can be dramatic. I'm keenly interested in your product and would like to explore how I might assist you in increasing Amazon sales. All the best, Tim. By the way, when you talk to product sellers, you need to stress how crazy in love you are with their product, how great you think it is. I mean, you're their best customer. You love it, all right? And if you don't feel like that, it's probably not a good product for you to represent, okay? Every single product that I represent. When I first talk to the client or the partner, I talk to them a lot about how much I liked their product. Okay, they love that. It makes them feel good because they don't want to just hire any Tom, Dick, or Harry that's going to go out there and just try to sell the product for $1. They want to know that you're really into it, you love it, and that's big. So make sure you're stating that in all of your communications. And then you might want to send a letter out, as Danny mentioned earlier, just your friends and connections, your network, and tell them, hey, I need your help. As many of you know, I've now set up a little side gig. I'm helping others sell products on Amazon. I've been wanting to do this for years, and I finally mastered the skills required to achieve great results helping others. Now I need your help. I'm looking for individuals or companies who have a product to sell, and with the tools and knowledge that I now have, I can dramatically improve the Amazon sales of any referral that you would send my way. Do you know anyone that is currently selling a product? Give me a call if you have any questions. Just something like that. These are people you know, so your word's going to be better than mine. But just write a letter out to all of your contacts or 10 of your contacts, some number, and send it out and see if they can help bird dog products for you, sellers or manufacturers for you of these products. It's that easy. Now, we've gone over tonight. I appreciate your patience. I'll quickly review what we've covered, and then we can wrap it up. But you're basically going to go through these steps if you want to do the loophole as we've described in session number 1. There's more to learn, but here's what we've covered tonight. You need to identify the benefits and drawbacks of being an Amazon product consultant, and take it to heart, folks. I mean, if you didn't get it after what we've shared with you tonight, you need to listen to this again. There should have been 1,000 light bulbs going off in your head as we went through various things. No theory here. This is something that I'm doing, and you could do it as well. All right? Review this stuff to make sure. There was some subtle stuff that we went through fast that you might have missed. Go through it again. There was a lot covered. Think about each little item and see if somehow you could expand off in that area based on that little spark that I gave you or that Danny shared with you tonight. Evaluate products and clients. I'm talking about the potential products that are out there and potential clients and partners that you might want to do business with. You can start the list like Danny suggested using a spreadsheet or however you want to do it and get a dozen or 2 dozen potential products all lined up, and then go through and just talk to them all and then cherry pick. All right? You do not want to take the first one that says yes necessarily. Talk to 10 or 20 of them and pick the best one. All right? And tell the others you're sorry, they were too late, or you're too busy, or you'll get to them in a month. I do that all the time, and every time I do it, it's like they want to do business with me even more. Find the client contact information. Use the strategies that Danny shared with you to dig that out. Make yourself reputable by setting up shop. Incorporate. Set up a LinkedIn profile. Do a website. And then start to contact the clients. I almost always start with an email because I kind of filter. Okay, and you'll start to do that more and more as you do this. But I kind of filter it out. It's almost like I'm trying to make sure that they at least hit certain criteria that I've set up. I'll share this criteria with you in our next session so that you're not wasting your time. Are they willing to fund the kind of inventory? Are they willing to promo product out at certain levels? Are they willing to do, any edits or changes that need to be done? Are they willing to give you access to the Seller Central account? All those kinds of things. Sometimes you can line that out, not in a first email, but in a second or third email once you've got their interest. First you get their interest, then you filter. Okay? That's what you're going to want to do. Now, what I would like for you to do, if anything Danny or I have shared with you tonight was of interest, if you think this stuff could help you, please, I know I've said this a lot, but it means a lot because I'm trying to make the decision whether I want to invest more time and effort helping people to do this or whether I just fold up my tent and just keep doing it. All right? I'm going to be honest with you. I make a lot of money through Amazon and through these partners and these consulting things, not through teaching and training. That's why I stopped doing it. For some of you guys that know me, I've taught and trained, so many people, literally. I mean, I showed you my Udemy course. It's got 30,000 students going through it. I'm not going to put up another Udemy course, and I'm not planning to do others. But I decided to do this one because, a few people twisted my arm, and also I saw a lot of people struggling with ASM and hitting certain hurdles, and they couldn't get around. And I guess it was the teacher inside of me that said, hey, there is a way to do this. If you're short on money, if you're short on knowledge, if you're, a little leery of the investment risk, there are ways to do this. And so, I'm willing to carry this forward and do more and more and more if you guys are really interested in me doing it. All right, so I need that feedback, and one of the things that would really help is sharing it with people who are not in this class tonight and letting them know you enjoyed it, you thought it was valuable, and if they are interested, that they should come over to AmazingLoophole.com, and when they get there, they can say they're interested in maybe taking the course if we release this wider. Otherwise, we'll just leave it as it is, and that's it. The other thing is that if you're interested in me personally helping you close accounts, you need to let me know that as well, and we'll figure out whether that can be worthwhile or not. I can tell you this, you put me on the phone with a client and the odds are very high I can get them interested in doing business, okay? Not 100%, but I can usually, get most of them. So I'm thinking I might offer that as a service and just etch out a couple of hours each week and do that for people. If you just have the client already, we just arrange a call and do it. But at this point, there are no plans to do it. There's no price on what that would be to do it. It'd be a little pricey because it's very specialized time, but it would land you juicy accounts. And I showed you, the case study of NU. That's a good 3,000 something per month, and it's going to just do nothing but get better and better and better and better. Okay, that would be worth me closing for you. So anyway, there's that. When you get to the page, it looks like this. Just fill out your name and number, and that's it. Now we've went over the time a lot, so we don't have a lot of time for questions, and I'm going to leave this web site up here. But I know you guys probably have a million questions, and so I'm going to pop into the Q&A area and just quickly grab a few of these questions. And if I don't cover your question, it's only because we're so over time. We'll try to spend more time answering questions next week. And I remind you, next week the sessions will be, in fact, let me pop the screen up one more time. Put this on your calendar. Next week, December the 9th, same time. We'll do session 2, then we'll skip for the holidays and come back January the 6th, same time, 4 p.m., and then the last session, which will be almost all Q&A, will be January the 13th. We'll try to have the sessions run, 90 to 120 minutes, but guys, if it runs over, it runs over, okay? It's being recorded, and if you have to bail early, that's fine. You can catch the recording later. Okay, so let me go back, and we'll take a look at these questions. And I'll get that URL up there. If you have any questions, please pop them up. Okay. Do you have to meet face-to-face with the client? I have never once met face-to-face with any of my clients. Never once. So the answer is no, you do not. If it was a really special client and it wasn't too cumbersome for me to do it, I probably would. But hasn't happened yet, so the answer is no. Okay, somebody is asking what Danny's last name is. Danny? Are you there? Danny?
Hausman, sorry about that. I was a mute.
Hausman, okay. It wasn't that I forgot it. It's just I wanted to make sure he didn't pronounce it odd. I met Danny almost in a similar way as I do most of my partners. And usually what I do is I get on, I talk to them, and if they seem they're intelligent and they have something that I need to help me improve in business, I'll work out how to do a partnership. So even Danny, here's an insider from Amazon who knows stuff that I would have never known, and he and I connected up online, and lo and behold, we're doing this course together. So anyway, Danny Hausman, I'm recommending you guys on Facebook fan page, and realize I don't know it. Okay, so Danny Hausman. I'll see if I can actually pull the slide back up here. I probably have it back at the beginning someplace. Yeah, here we go. Here's Danny's slide. Danny Hausman. Okay, I'll leave that up for a second. Okay, the next one. When will you be able to give us examples on contracts and how to construct them? The contract, we will give you bullet points in some of the criteria in the next session. All right, but some of it may flow over into the third session. I don't know for sure, but definitely within this course and most likely in our next session. Okay, this is not a course that we've given before. You guys are hearing it for the first time. I've never revealed this stuff to anybody, so we're kind of putting it together as we go. Okay, the next one is how do we get a hold of your contract bullet points? I'll be publishing those in our next session, and you'll be able to get them then. Okay, this is incredible info. Do we need a corporation now, or is later okay? Well, I would start, if you're going to do this, you don't maybe do it. You do it, all right? Because the whole thing about being successful at this is that you've got to have this attitude like, look, I'm good at this stuff, I can help you. And listen, even if you don't think you're really good at it because you're new at it, don't worry. You know 1,000 times more than the product merchant or manufacturer or seller knows. They don't know anything. All right? So you're a genius to them if you only know 1% of what, say, I know. All right? So don't worry about that. You know. And so you're going to do a better job than them. So you've got to just have this, everything is like, needs to be done a certain way in order to come across, as an expert. That's what you're offering. So I would suggest that you go ahead and get that started. You can generally get a corporation done in, gosh, a week. And if you can't afford it, go find a partner who's an attorney. That's what I would do. And I'm kind of joking, but I mean that's really the way you can solve a lot of these problems. So I would say you should start doing that as you start doing the steps that we talk about, that we've talked about tonight. The next one, the ASM Masters Facebook page. I don't know if that's the exact question. If you don't know, if you're asking where it is, just contact whoever you signed up for ASM through and ask them, where that's at. And what I'm talking about is not necessarily the ASM area. I'm talking about the group that Will and Jason run, the Facebook group that Will and Jason run, for all of the people that have joined through them. So that's where you want to share this mostly. Okay, the next thing are the 4 webinar sessions. You're talking about, say, are these 4? Wait, that's not a full question. Dan and Danny, I see the benefits of this. Is there a way to do this without the public exposure with my name? I am asking because I'm at the beginning of the stage of divorce. Oh, wow, this is like getting complicated. Well, gosh, you need to have a page up. That doesn't mean you have to publicize it. So you're not going to be trying to drive traffic to this. What I think you should do is go ahead and set it up, and then you only share the URL just with the client that you're trying to get. That's really what you're setting it up for in the first place. You don't have to go wide and do publicity and promote yourself online. You just need to have a page. It's like if you meet somebody and you expect them to have a business card to hand to you. It's kind of a little, signal that, they're professional, that they're doing what they're doing. And so that's kind of what your website's like. You don't really need a business card because you're not going to physically be meeting them necessarily. But if you were to be meeting people at events, which is another great place, go to trade shows and things of that nature, and that's just great. That's actually where Inu originally came from. One of my bird dogs actually met them at a trade show. They had all of their stuff set up, and it was a lady. She went up, met them, talked to them, and within a day or two we were on the phone, and within a few days later we had the deal. So maybe that'll work that problem. Okay, the next one. Okay, can someone like me who has stock sitting and not selling any, can you become an Amazon optimization consultant? Yes, you can. I don't know why your stock is sitting and not selling, but I bet you have an idea. And if you don't, you need to connect up with some other people that are doing this and ask them why it's not selling. What part of the program isn't working for you, and find out what it is. Maybe you picked the wrong product. Maybe it was just too competitive for your ability to finance the promotion of it. Maybe that's it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pricing. Maybe your label. Maybe it's your pictures. Maybe it's your description. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's not, right about it, and use that as a learning scenario. All right. But the point is that you have learned how to do certain things. You sourced it, you labeled it, you got it shipped to FBA, it's up on Amazon, you did all of this stuff. You've got skills. There's probably just one little weak link in your particular product. Maybe you just didn't have enough money to fund what you needed to do as far as the promotion and stuff of that nature. So don't think that you wouldn't be very good if you did it with somebody else who could just provide all the product that you needed, and you could promo it out and do all the kind of things that you need. So I'd have to know more about what you're talking about, but I would assume that you would be qualified. Believe me, I have had products, I shared them with you, where it didn't work. Just happens. You're not going to hit all home runs. But I would say every product I did that failed, I'm glad I did it because it made me that much more smarter about this business, and I know things that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't have had those failures. So your failure, I shouldn't say failure, but your current stagnation is basically a learning experience, and yes, you can be a consultant. Okay, I'm loving this, and I'm re-energized. Great. Okay, will we get the slides with the replay? No, you're going to get the slides are highly animated, so they don't print out very well. But any of the parts that are important, we'll try to put that together if there are lists or things of that nature. So you need to take copious notes. I guess I should have said that up front, but copious notes, and you can do that when you watch the replay. The replay will be up someplace. Jason will put it up someplace. Seems like you would be much better off just doing it yourself rather than spending your time training others, but I do love the opportunity. You're right. That's why I didn't do this straight away. But you know what it is? It's in life. There's a lot of things where you could just sit there and do it and just be greedy, okay? And I have been a teacher all of my life. I taught at the University of Illinois for 6 or 7 years. I only got out of it because you can't make much money as a teacher. And I just like to teach. I've also found that teaching helps reinforce what I know about something. And when I get on and talk to people, especially clients, boy, I can just rattle off for hours and hours and hours. That's why this 2-hour session is now running 3 hours. It's because, I live the stuff and I know it. So teaching actually helps me, and it allows me to help others. And that's a do-good, kind of good feeling thing. So this was great. Totally support what you're doing, and we'll recommend it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This sounds great. My questions aren't potential clients going to ask for referrals? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, some will, and some won't. So what you need to do is have some people that they could talk to that would be referrals, all right? Maybe some other people that you've worked with, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a person selling on Amazon, okay? It could be someone else who's in ASM who's just willing to kind of work with you and do that. It's funny, but I've only had two clients, this is true, I've only had two clients actually ask me for referrals. And one of them asked me for the referral during the first, it was actually INU, the meal replacement. They asked me for referrals in the very first call, and we had several calls after that. I just never sent them. It wasn't because I was trying to avoid it. I just kind of forgot about it, and then they never did. After they asked the one time, they never did ask again. It's because I started pouring it on, and just I did a new product picture for them. I showed them samples of the way I just started doing some of the stuff and saying, hey, here's some kind of stuff that we could do, and we could do this, and we could do this, and we could do this, and pretty soon it's like they could care less about the referrals. They just knew that I was really interested in their product and really going to do a good job, and definitely a better job than they were doing. And guess what? The proof is in the pudding. There was another one that did want, actually, it was the one with the sponges. They wanted referrals, and gosh, I don't think I had given referrals for years, or references is what I should be saying. And I trumped up a few. In fact, I actually had Danny. Remember Danny? I actually see Danny. I don't think I had known Danny, but like 2 weeks. And INU. Not in you, but the sponge people, they wrote me and said they wanted to review it. I said, hey, I know what I'll do. I'll ask Danny because he used to work at Amazon. That'll sound really good, And Danny said, sure. So, he sent over. So anyway, that's not a big deal, guys. You'll be able to solve that. Okay, I'm going to answer 2 more questions, then we got to go. Very interesting. The audio keeps going off. If the audio is going off, trust me, it did record on the recording, and you can catch it then. Sometimes it's just our connection. Great training, love it. I have a question. I have a relative who is the direct manufacturer of a, I'm not going to name the product, but of a particular type of product, and they currently don't have a presence on Amazon. Before I approach them about marketing this product on Amazon, how do I ensure that this particular organic product is even a good product to market on Amazon? Okay, now listen, folks. I know the answer to that question, but that's a question where the training that you paid for in ASM provides that, all right? So you need to go back into your course material or ask around, okay, how people are doing that, because what Danny and I are trying to do is not repeat the training that you had with ASM or what have you. That's really a question, for that. But I mean, the quick answer, just so they don't feel like I'm just pushing you off, is just you just need to go into Amazon and look at other products similar to that and see if anybody else is selling a similar product. And if they are, then that means you can sell that product and beat them out or do well as well. So that's, in a nutshell, that's it. If somebody else is already doing it, then you probably can do it as well. And that's the answer to that. Folks, I could answer questions all night, but time has gotten away from us, and we're going to end it now. Let me pull up the final slide here. Danny, I don't know if you had anything else that you needed to add or wanted to add.
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. Again, I realized we ran over time, but there is just so much to this opportunity that we wanted to discuss that we could, as Dan was saying, just talk about it for hours and hours.
So anyway, what we'll do is we'll call it a day for now. This will be recorded. I will see you next week. Please go to AmazingLoophole.com and please share your feelings about the course or enthusiasm or kudos. And then the training session will be next week, and then in January the 6th and January the 13th. Folks, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And I will see you next week at the same time, same channel. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.